That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. Well, everybody, it is fucking late. It's actually after Friday. So I did a I did a Monday show where it was Monday here and Tuesday in Australia. Now I'm doing a Friday show where it's Friday here, but it's Saturday fucking ass crack in the UK. So yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but honestly, you know what happened Tuesday is Colin Schumark happened to be off of work on an Australian Tuesday, and an Australian Tuesday is half of a motherfucking American Monday. So a motherfucking American Monday seemed like a prime time to have an off-topic Tuesday on a Monday. So I got to tell you guys that it was fun. We were limited on time because he had this really honorable thing to go do with his daughter, and I thought it was so awesome that he was going to go do that. So you know what? I would blow off the biggest podcaster. Wait. I would only blow off the biggest or the coolest podcaster in the space for my daughter. I would do that for my daughter. I wouldn't do that for anyone else. I would do that for my daughter. But anyway, I did not have a problem with him cutting our interview short. I thought it was a great interview from down under. Colin is an awesome guy. The t-shirt he had, the background he had, dude, looking like a suave wannabe Twitch gamer was absolutely incredible. Please go check it out on YouTube. I uploaded earlier before I left. I finally got this corrupt file straight. I had to send it out to a buddy of mine to straighten out. It got messed up on my disc, but I got the Jessica Hare episode up. You must hair it, as one of my sponsors posted on one of the reels. You must hair it. Definitely go listen to the Jessica episode in audio. And I did put up the properly edited episode of Ron Heisenberg with the proper ending that got messed up. So if you want to go listen to good old Ron again, and the sweet sound of hurricane frogs and crickets in the background, that was a great interview. Go listen to Ron Heisenberg again, because I put that little snippet in at the end of how we both thought it was really cool that his kid was so surprised that he was on bullshit, and it made me feel amazing. It made him feel amazing. At like we both are looked up to by youth, and I think that's incredible. I mean, I never thought that this world would be so easy to reach out with our knowledge and our history and our past and just give it to you. And just like, and this isn't about showing up another podcaster or making a better production, but I'm doing this all for inherently free. So I'm going to go, before I say anything to any sponsors today, I'm going to thank these few people: Chris Dinkins, Sam Haggard, Richard Crowell, and most importantly, the first one, McGrail Morphs, because you did go on my Patreon and you did pay me and are paying me for absolutely nothing. I'm not giving you anything in your Patreon. So, all right, people are stacking up in the room. I'm going to get to the announcement of visitors real quick. Then I'm going to go through the sponsors. We're going to sauce it up, toss it up a little bit, and change it up today. But let me go back in track. Look who's actually first today, unless something glitched in the chat and Will Heat's comment got removed. First. So at 5:37, thank you, Shane, for chiming in there just to be posthumously first while you were probably on the way to work. Forward motion, always moving forward, bro. Great. You guys are killing me. What up, Sean? Oh, maybe they did have a fun chat without us. Did I miss a bunch? Oof, maybe they did have a fun chat. Big D's, let's go. Big Mike in the house tonight. Whoop, whoop. I agree. This guy's pretty special. Clown Scientist, Eric's Morph Factory, 4 S's. Thank you very much. Will's Hella is down here a little bit. Here he is. And Fry, good day from down under. Corbin, what's up from like 15 minutes to my right shoulder? What's up, Corbin? It's good to have you here. You need to get the fuck over here and help me with some stuff soon. I just got an order from Coral View for control boards, so I need some hustle help. We need to do that one day next week. Kaiju Constrictor is going to be crazy with Pop on. Everybody better have a can of beans ready for this one. Oh, man, we got to figure out what that's all about, right? Strange, sponsor in the house. Thanks a lot for coming in. Who did I miss? BNS, Chris, Reptiler. Thanks a lot for chiming in. Hot Glass. Sup, everybody? Shout out. Yeah, shout out to you too, bro. Blake. Awesome. Bosa, big man. Smash that like, subscribe. Please subscribe. Please just get me to 1,000 so that someone can give me money so I can start doing stupid shit for USARC, like make trigger words or something. We'll have like a game. We'll have like a trigger word game. Like the first person to throw up $5 for USARC every time a guest says cunt. We'll have Jessica Hale on and we'll raise like $1 million for USARC. Because that girl right there can say cunt, like cunt. And if you want to hear it, go listen to the audio version I just uploaded today. Because a bunch of the pre-show, post-show was all about that whole, like I can't stop calling people a cunt. So yeah, Aaron Barbosa, thanks a lot. Smash the like and subscribe. Eric B, what's up? Cuddle Time, what's up? Who else, man? C-SERPENTS, Stan, what's up? I'm going to stop shouting out. You guys are everywhere. Awesome. Tamethyst, what's great? That's just wonderful. It's great to see all you new people in here piling in here. 2080. All right, now I'm going to get over to the sponsors because everybody's here tired of hearing this shit. And let me do this. I don't have a producer, man. I'm not fly like your boy over there with his girl working the camera behind his thing. And I'm not talking about Barchak and his guy either. I'm not trying to insult him by calling him a girl because of his hair. But no, I'm talking about the, Keys, right? I'm talking about Keys. Keys is up there with fucking got his girl editing in the background, running like a little producer and shit. I need that. You know what? I need that. I need this old guy to stay up late with me every time I do this show and be my producer from the UK and just chime in with this shit every now and then. So, the most selling herself contestant ever to hit the 15 minutes of lame competition in our little industry. Don't you love how small our little industry is, where you can't move an inch without seeing this woman wrap herself in a fucking coat and dive into a blackberry bush or some other heinous shit to win this competition, including being a guest on my show. On what day is it, Jana? The second, pipe up in the chat and pump yourself up. You want to, that's why you're here. You're here just to do that. And I'm here to help you, right? I'm here to help you. I don't know where my boy is, but I don't know where Caleb is, but Caleb should be all up in this shit because I support Caleb the most. Dude, that's who I'd vote for the 15 minutes of lame. Sorry, Jana, I love you and everything. I don't even know you yet, but I'm voting for the kid that I've known since he was like this big and shit. I mean, I've known Caleb Howell since I've known Caleb Howell as long as he wore glasses. That's how fucking long I've known Caleb Howell. So there's a dig on Caleb because I know he likes it. He's sub like that in this business. Anyway, Reptiles to you, discounted shipping. They're my peeps. Debbie Price, the best people in the biz, man. Really, I even order boxes from them now too, just because it's convenient. I love TSK Supply for my big orders. When I need big orders of shit, I go to TSK Supply. I'll throw that out there. Dan and Colette Sutherland have always been near and dear to me, even though I curse a lot and act like a fucking sailor, and that kind of goes against their Mormon principles. I can tell you right now that, look at her. She shows the love. We love Caleb. Yeah, we love Caleb. Of course we love Caleb. He's just my boy. He's just been my kid forever. I'm super loyal. But I mean, hey, I'm not even going to go vote. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to vote. I'm going to be the impartial guy that helps all y'all. Like, vote for Caleb, vote for Jana. All that shit. Anyway, Reptiles to you, Ball, BALL 0922 at checkout. Come on, dude. Go ring this shit up. Make me look good. Make me look like a sponsor that needs to charge them more when the new year comes around. Morph Market. I'm probably not going to charge him more because he's probably not going to pay me more because I probably don't do a whole lot for him. But anyway, I used to do a whole lot for him back in the day when I used to tell you guys in 2015, there's this new site called Morph Market where you don't have to auction. And I've left what was it called? The reptile ring. I've left the reptile ring for this. Ooh, best thing to happen to the reptile industry since the internet began. Greg Graziani. We were just talking about him. Look at that. And his little quote came right up on Morph Market on a rando. And indeed, this is exactly what we needed was Morph Market. It saved all of our collective asses. Look at all these collective asses it saved when it came in and saved us from auctions. Look at all these people, not just, it's a fucking ball python site. It is not a ball python site. I'm sorry. Yeah, it could use a little bit better organization. But now that more people are listing, you've got gargoyles in their own thing and lychees in their own thing and chihuahuas in there. That never used to be a thing. It used to be like New Caledonian geckos. Bam. And now that crested people are so fucking snooty, they've had to take you cocksuckers out and put you in your own little boot group. I'm sorry to say this, but listen, if there is this, you ever watch the movie, the TV show Shameless, the American Shameless, not the British Shameless, the American Shameless. The axolotl, right, is probably, I'm not going to click on it again. The axolotl is probably the most gentrified, to use Frank's word from Shameless, the most gentrified reptile and amphibian in the world, because they have a squishmallow that's an axolotl. They have axolotls in fucking Minecraft now, right? And now there is crested geckos. Crested geckos are the most gentrified reptile, period. Prove me wrong. Prove me fucking wrong that kids haven't taken oh, the head has to be so round and the eye flaps have to come out this far and it has to be, fuck you. You don't even know what a New Caledonian crested gecko looks like off the island. But you know, this guy might, because he's been around for a while. Chris at C-SERPENTS for rack systems and incubators. See, I didn't say reptiles that time. Ooh, that's a first. Go check out my boy. 4 to 6 week lead time. I hope he keeps this up and it doesn't keep shrinking, because that might be the sign of your reptile recession right there. If this goes back to a 10-day lead time, that or he just bought more machines with all of his wealth. Exotics by Nature. I am not buying more machines with all my wealth, but go check out 190 corn snakes for sale that I have. Holy fuck. And realize these are iPhone photos. Look at this scaleless creamsicle tessera. Is that not legit? I mean, Jesus, how do you not go look at this? If you like the scaleless ball, but every one you had rotted in your cage and you wanted one as a pet, this is what you need. If maybe it's just me, because I don't know. I can't feel my penis anymore. Anyway, usarc.org, strength in numbers. They're absolutely right. Get on it. Bravo Zulu. Thank you very much for supporting me and the Bullshit podcast as much as you do. Jim LaValle, the new guy, one of the new guys out there showing some pictures of his stuff. Go support Ectothermic Dungeon. Like he supports me. Infinite Possible Pythons. I still have trouble with the name. But Nathan, it's memorable. Thanks a lot for sponsoring. John Woodruff, thanks a lot for tuning in tonight, for sharing my shit with this here man. He is the man. Absolutely. Chat's stacking up too. 30 people in there now. Reptile Collective. Oh, man. My homie. Look at this, man. A Bothroculus boa. That's the scientific name for a ring python. That is a beautiful ring python for its size, too. I got to look at it fucking crooked. Next time, bro, flip that picture before you put it on Instagram so I don't have to look sideways at that beautiful snake. Savages is. I saw an interview from Becca earlier. You can't hear the audio because I don't have it downloaded and I'm not sharing that screen's audio. But she is doing this new rodent food. So check out Savage Constrictors, one of the sponsors of the Bullshit podcast, and also look into this new rodent food she's repping. You can check her out in South Florida. I mean, I don't mean check her out. She's good looking. Check her out. By all means. Ricky probably doesn't mind. Ricky's not too bad looking either if you're into the tattooed, bald, pierced fucking guy sort of thing. Anyway, that's Savage Constrictors. Check them both out. Small Town Exotics. Ooh, I just got a sign out to Small Town Exotics, so that's going to be great to see my boy Shane's finish up this sign. Hopefully it works out, dude. And if it doesn't work out, I'll just send you out more parts to make it work. That's what's great about signs with lasers. We can just make more parts. You just need more. I mean, you just need another sheet of wood. Strange. What's up, Strange? I know you're in the chat. I hope you're doing well. But back in the waiting room, God, tired of waiting, I'm sure, is this fella right here. 21st Century Reptiles. Get rid of that. I'm going to bring him in. What's up, man? Got it going?
What's up, Sean? How you doing,
Good to see
bro?
you again. I'm doing
you.
well. I'm doing well. It's good to hear you tonight. Man, it's good to see you. And there's, of course, a ton of people in the chat. I saw you watching the chat. I see you commenting in the chat. You have a lot of fans. For someone that's not known, you have a lot of fans. So,
well, that's what I mean, Sean. That in the States, there's a little cluster of people that we talk. A lot of these guys in here, Sean, we talk to I speak to on a daily basis. That we talk about projects and strategies and stuff like that. And you know, some of them are very interested to hear what I've got to say, just because I do things a little differently. So
that's wonderful. And doing things differently is great. I mean, that's one. Look, I'm going to plug it again. I'm going to plug her again. Oof. I never plugged her to begin with, bro. I got to promise you. As much as I admire this girl, I'm not going to plug her to begin with. Stan said, we picked up a bag from her today about 45 minutes ago. I really wish I could get the rodent food over here. So, Becca, if you guys do come this way for a show or anything, let me know if you want to load up some and I'll take some. We'll mess with it over here at our place. We don't do a whole lot of rodent raising, but what we do is all just Missouri. So it's nice to have that. So good to know that somebody's out there repping. But yeah, dude, you're out there repping your shit. Look who I'm repping, man. My old boy Jody. Hyde Production.
No, this is a reference to Will's Hella Heat because he said it's nice to see
Mike. See you with clothes on. Oh, okay, I got you. You usually
well on a Thursday, on a Friday morning for me, a Thursday night for you. I take part on a podcast called Thirsty Thursdays with the Big D, who's in the chat. And basically, I come on, I get up a little bit early. And for the first hour, I'm sitting in my boxer shorts, just slouched on my counter, not even really talking too much while I'm trying to wake up. And then the boys come with me into work. We go on the train into central London and we show a little video of all the offices in central London because I work in central London, Sean. So,
all right. So, what do you do? What do you do for a living?
I'm a shoe repairer.
Okay.
Cobbler.
All
old
right.
school. I'm old
well,
school.
Well, no, but that's a thing in London, right? Okay, so little quick story. I mean, everybody hates my stories, right? A little quick story. My cousin started in graphic art after he had a bad childhood, and he always could draw really well. And he got a job in Texas working at a place that did that designed watch faces for a company called Fossil. So it's a huge watch company, right?
Yeah.
So there was when Fossil in the late 80s or maybe early 90s. Anthony, I'll throw that up there. Sean never has a quick story. He got a job working as a graphic artist, and his buddy taught him website design along the way. Well, he learned website design so well in 1999, he got hired by a company in London, straight out of Texas. And this kid was a fuck up, bro. This kid was wearing like torn up jeans, spray painting the anarchy symbol on all kind of shit. And like when I was a little kid, he would teach me shit. Like he taught me how to draw the peace symbol, but he also taught me how to draw the anarchy symbol right. He's like, the A has got to go outside of the circle, bro. It can't stay in the fucking circle, dude. And I'm like 5, right? And he's like 15. Well, come later in life, now he's fucking retired and lives in Portugal on the coast in a house with a pool with another house behind it for his mother to stay in. It's fucking ridiculous, right? But in the process of this, when he got the job in London, he said they gave me an apartment. They gave me a car, a BMW. They gave me a haberdashery account and a cobbler. I said, what the fuck's a cobbler? He's like, a guy to fix my shoes. And I said, bro, this is America. You just buy new shoes. And he was like, not there, bro. Not the kind of shoes I got to wear. And I was like, holy shit. And do you know what my cousin did as his very like crowning European achievement? The very first Walmart.com. My cousin was the project leader for Walmart for the very first fucking Walmart.com. And I'm like, do you talk about climbing a ladder and being a badass and needing to have an account with a fucking cobbler, right? So congrats to you for having such an old school job. Because if you were a what would a haberdashery guy be? Just, I mean, a tailor in America, but what do you call it there?
Tailor.
Just a tailor. That's what you call a tailor still? Okay. I mean, because you guys have shit, right? Corbin says we have a cobbler in Mandeville. I just got my boots restitched. Well, bro, guess what? I got my same pair of 10-year-old Vans that I got when I got in a wheelchair. And they have no sole wear on them at all. But, Mike, they have no sole wear on them at all. But the tops look fucking horrible. Like they look like they've been all over the world. The sides, the rims, because I bump into shit and airports and smudging on stuff. So the edges of my shoes look terrible, bro. But the bottoms are brand new. So the tops of them the other. Wait. I told you earlier pre-show that I started dating this chick, right? So the other day, I'm like, fuck, this is the only pair of shoes I've got that I could comfortably wear for long periods of time without hurting my feet. Because my feet swell and shit. Because I'm fucking handicapped, right? I sit all the time. Oh, get this shit, bro. I got my airbrush from doing my signs out. And I remembered, wait, I bought that paint on Amazon and it said it was shoe paint. And so I used my 10-year-old shoes, bro, and my airbrush.
And you
And I
spray
painted
them.
my shoes. And my old gray, dingy fucking Vans that Jared Smith would give me shit about now because he remembers when I got them brand new because he complimented me on them when they were brand fucking new. And he saw me at a reptile show 7 years later. He's like, bro, it's the same fucking shoes. I was like, what do you want me to do? Buy more shoes?
You know, there's a business now
You're out of
about
business
that,
with me, bro.
that they get trainers and they airbrush them and they do designs on them.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
quite a big business now.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite a big business
That's
now.
why I
People
saw it.
can
That's why
ask me,
I saw it. Was an Instagram reel of a dude painting some Jordans. I
yeah,
was like,
they
whoa,
ask
I got an
me-
airbrush now. Fuck. Wow.
They ask me, do you do that? And I'm like, no, I'm an old-fashioned shoe repairer. I put leather soles and do stitching and stuff
That's
like
great.
that. So yeah, I've done that all my life, Sean. So I'm pretty much part-time now. It's like a 7 to 8 hour day, door to door, including the trip to the city. So it leaves me time for my
a 7 to 8 hour day. All right, bro, let's bring me through that, bro, because I've never been over there. My mother's been, my friends have been. Obviously, my cousin has rich stories that he's told me from over there. But what is a day like in your travel? Like, you get up early. How long is your travel?
So I purposely moved here because I always tend to work in the city, and I always tend to work in the city because in the city you only work Monday to Friday, and I don't like working weekends because the city is dead weekend. You're there for the workers, right? There's no residents there for the office people.
True.
So you don't work weekends. So basically, I hooked myself somewhere where I was on a line, able to get into London easily, and easily have access to my 3 children. And actually, I've got a perfect travel. I walk for 10 minutes to the station. It's a 33-minute train ride into the city of London. And then I've either got another 10-minute walk or I can take a train for 1 stop.
Oh, fuck. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. There's motherfuckers that live in Chicago that have a commute that long to Chicago. I mean, legitimately. I think. I mean, like, if you got to go from O'Hare to fucking Midway Airport in Chicago, that's a fucking hour. You know? I mean, that's not bad. That's really not bad.
It's the roads that are the problem. There's to go into the city straight away, that they charge you £15 to go into the central zone.
I know there's tolls to go in the city, then fuel is incredibly expensive, and then
parking is incredibly expensive.
Parking is incredibly expensive. You're almost paying hourly to be there, pretty much. You know, at that point, you really are paying. And I told this dude, I told it I was actually talking to the girl I was seeing, and I just told her this exact thing. I was like, you know, in London, you'd pay hourly basically for the time you spend driving a car around in there. You would actually spend time doing, you know, and it's like on top of $12, $11 a gallon gas or $9 a gallon gas, you know, fuel and shit, right? So public transit's beautiful in that sense, right? And so what, like, are you very clustered? Do you live very tight where you are? I mean, do you have country? Do you have any land where you are?
So I just live in a flat. Live in a flat, but I do live sort of, if you like, on the edge of London, within a 5-minute drive. I'm on this thing called the M25, which is the motorway that goes round the whole of the edge of London. So I'm that close to the edge of London that motorway is 10 minutes from my front door.
Well, that's fabulous then. You got a good spot then. So I imagine reptile wise, I mean, man, there can't be a whole lot of people in your area in the hobby. I wouldn't think that close to the city cost prohibitively, right? Space, cost, time.
You know that, you know yourself, Sean, the reptile hobby in the UK is very, very different to the hobby in the States. You know, a lot of people, sorry, let me rephrase that. A few people in the UK getting overexcited because they think that the UK market can sustain the sort of level of animals being produced in the States. But
when the euro Right, when the Euro boundary was closed, right? Like before, when you could easily send from pound to Euro, right? When it was no real importation.
It was much easier technically that people that are producing the heat in the UK now, they're actually to an advantage because you now can't just go to Germany and order it from this guy or that guy from Holland, that it's going to cost you so much headache to bring it back that you're going to try to source out somebody in the UK who's packing the animal that you want to buy, because it's just so much easier. And you know, the UK is so small, bro, that even if I told somebody, yeah, this is this animal, can I come and pick it up? No matter where they are in the UK, probably within 4 or 5 hours, I'm going to be at their front door. They'd have to live in one of the right obscure places for it to be more than 5 hours for me to get to their door. So, you know, you can pick up your stuff, but the closing of the border actually, in a way, help the people who are already packing the heat. It doesn't help the people that want to buy in at a high level, because now the market is either shrunk or they're tied up in import papers and waiting time.
And ultimately, you also still have that edge that Europeans have that always got me selling to you guys. You don't want to deal with each other when you can deal with someone else. And I don't know if you ever felt that. Most of you guys have agreed with me on that, but like we're talking rewind though. We're talking back. So wait, Forward Motion Reptile said, I drive a semi truck around Chicago area. I just drove 120 miles in 4 hours, just straight driving, not the delivery time. Exactly. Dude, I drive 120 miles in like an hour and a half around me. I fucking fly like 70, whoop, 90, whoop, 80, whoop. And that's pretty much how it is. Unless there's traffic like tonight, it took me 35 minutes to go 21 miles, you know, but that's not that bad. Yeah, anyway, but yeah, dude, in all honesty, it seems like when I look back at the history of the people I dealt with in the UK, if somebody over there had something and they could buy something from us, they wouldn't buy it from them. They would almost buy a new thing from us and then buy the same other thing from us and not from them. Because,
but some of that is, there's two reasons for that. That one is only the smart people and one is the stupid people. The smart people might want to do that because they want to bring a new line in, because they feel that they can then tell people that this is a different line, that I bought it in from the US and nobody else in the UK.
It's still marketing to separate yourself from your brother UK breeder is what I'm saying. I mean, like go ahead.
But it also allows you to have notoriety to tell people, I got this snake in from Justin. I got this snake in from Aussie. You understand? It's like
I never stroked it. I never stroked. I got this snake from BHB. You know what I stroked? I got this clown with this picture of this clown, and this clown was the finest fucking clown everybody ever saw. And it blew up for me. And then the puzzle was, hey, here's a picture of it. Let it blow itself up. And I think I made myself something by buying the absolute best in the market. But when I sold to Europeans and I sold to people in the UK, I always got that feeling. And you kind of said it when you said, I want the cred to be able to say I brought in a new line. But that's just marketing, right? Because as well as you know, as I know, Africa is Africa, dude. And that's the line. The line is in America.
About all the different names for all the same morphs and all that.
Oh, we'll certainly go down that pathway, bro. We'll certainly hear Big Mike on the mic, talk about that. I mean, there's no doubt I want to hear you talk about that. I mean, you don't have to trash it. I mean, we can both look at some of the things. And I had a guy just message me this week, bro, I am convinced that Grimm and Hatari are the same thing. And I'm like, are you listening to the podcast? Because I've already said that like fucking 15 times. I mean, I'm not even over here saying Grimm and Hatari are different. I'm special. Hatari special. I named something that someone else didn't agree. I was like, hey, dude, you want to send me some of that stuff so I can try to breed it to this stuff so we can see? No, I got my own thing going. All right, then fine. Fuck. All right. It's like, dude, I try to work with you. I don't give a fuck about lines, bro. Because I'm telling you right now, Big Mike, if a big motherfucking if, probably going to happen, a line of puzzle comes from your, what is that? East? Yeah. If a line of puzzle comes from Japan, Russia, China, the Philippines, Thailand, Taiwan, Europe, anywhere like that, you have to realize the first female puzzle I sold in 2009 was a super pastel puzzle female. She went to Japan. The dude grew her up to a 3,500 gram female in 2 years, bred her to like a super pastel ivory of all things, and made a bunch of yellow belly puzzle het stuff, and then killed himself. And his collection got foo. And nobody knows what genes went where and what puzzle stuff went where and whatever. So, if a puzzle line pops out of Europe and some motherfucker gives it a special name, I want these genetic testing dudes to get on that shit. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that was Hori Nakamura's doing when he killed himself and all of his shit got disseminated. So, like, really, Primitive said it. Get the likes up for this episode, guys. Come on, 36 of you in here. You better have at least 36 likes on this episode or I'm going to stop doing them. That's not true. I'm going to keep doing them. I'm going to keep doing them posthumously, right? And at this point, I'm going to keep doing them. But really, dude, like when you think about the way the market worked, Mike, there were animals there and breeders there. And what happened was, like, let's take IRES, for example. I don't want to buy from IRES. Why? Because then if I buy from IRES, it's going to give them enough money to buy monsoons and puzzles from you and this other guy. And then I'm going to get the gene they've got. And then they're going to use my money to get. And I'm like, dude, do you realize that's how this works? Unless you come in like Miguel and you're like, well, blah, 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 blah. Or Levance didn't do that. Levance stepped his way, because I mentioned both of them to you pre-show. So I might as well mention them on the live air in a name drop. Levance, tons of fucking respect to Levance for the many years that he has been in the shadows of this, and then on the top of this.
Well, he's still in the shadows.
Oh, he's always going to be in the shadows because it's his style of thing, right? Like, but is that at the same thing is when we go back to it, it was really fucking awkward to see a market grow like that, Mike, because I didn't think it had a lot of future.
Well, now there's clicks. Now there's clicks. Now there's clicks.
Yeah, now you have enough micro markets to do it, right? Now,
so now there's clicks. So you'll be in with Gavin and his Patreon, and Gavin gives a discount to all his Patreon members to animals.
Right. Yeah. I see.
And so Gavin's got his
marketing
people. Then you'll have somebody like Paul is, I think his name is, at Urban Constrictors. He's another fairly well-known leader in the UK. Then you've got people. Hey, look, Scott Wilkinson had.
Well, he just popped into my head. Scott Wilkinson. I was just about to say.
He just had Justin. I don't know if you saw the pictures that Justin posted on his story.
I did.
That Justin was at Scott's place playing with the monkey, and they had some.
I did see
and
that.
I saw Darren Stairs, I think it is. He's a elder balded gentleman with tattoos. I think he's from the south of England. But the truth is, Sean, I'm that guy that I've been.
What about Darren? What about Darren that's been around in the UK forever? Is that who I'm talking about? The big muscular dude?
Yeah, Darren Stairs.
Stairs? I don't remember Darren's last name, whatever.
I get confused because there's two Darrens. There's another Darren that's from Neighbours Constrictors, and then there's Darren. Actually, I'm not even sure. Darren's a younger guy and not bald.
I think that's Darren Stairs, the one you're talking to, the younger guy. But the other Darren, big muscle Darren, that looks like a fucking thug, right? That dude, that scary looking dude. That was what was the name of his company? Come on, guys, help me. Big giant company. He used to import from Nerd and Ralph Davis and everything. Come on.
Still a big shot, but he's quite quiet. He's not
Bamboos
really
and stuff. Well, he's never been very political. He came here, he made friends. Nerd brought him over with Gail Thorpe, and when Gail and Nigel were a thing back in the day, Renaissance Reptiles were a thing. They brought him over because Nigel was British and they talked him into it. And fuck, guys, come on, help me out. Big UK company with ball pythons forever, ever. Imported from Nerd and everything. You know, I feel Crystal Palace Reptiles. Crystal Palace. Darren from Crystal Palace. That's Darren that I know, right? And the fucked up thing about Darren.
That's another Darren.
Oh, that's a different Darren? Okay, that's a third Darren. There you go. Then. Oh, so you see what I'm talking about, though, right? Like that guy. You know what I'm
It's
talking
a
about?
popular
Big
name
Darren.
in the UK, and two out of the three are big burly
And 2 out of the
guys.
3 are big, burly, scary guys. Because Crystal Palace Darren was a really scary looking dude, and his wife was very les looking, and she had a tattooed face or some shit, a face tattoo or some shit. She was hardcore.
But I think she used to be in the gym as well, right? I think she was into.
Oh yeah. They both were. They were both bodybuilding and some fitness thing or some shit like that. Yeah. But I mean, he was always intimidating as fuck, bro. And I was in Daytona once, and he's like, "Mate, where you from?" And I'm like, "Louisiana." And he's like, "No, your heritage. Where you from?" And I'm like, "Irish as fuck, bro." He's like, "Well, I'm drinking with you." And he bought me a drink, and he's just like, "Come here." And we talked for a couple hours, and it was fun. And I always meant to have him on the show when it was back in the day, right? But dude, it was a lot harder getting people on. Now it's easier. So yeah.
He's got a manager now that kind of takes care of that.
Yeah, I figured he's like Outback Ian, right? He like stepped back enough. He made enough money to hire somebody to run the joint and be like, I'm gonna be the Godfather.
So I'm tied to another guy. I don't know if you know Paul from Cold-Blooded Reptiles. He used to always be with Mike Wilbanks back in the day in Ham. He's a tall, skinny guy with a wispy beard. He always wearing.
Did he come to the States with Mike a few times?
He may well have, but Paul would always meet. Basically, I have quite a few of Mike's snakes here because there was a time when the European market was stronger than the American market in the mid 2015, 2016
Correct.
time.
That was a great time for me, bro, because we were selling animals with you and we were selling animals over there. Jim had a pet store in Lincolnshire, and we were bringing our shipments through Lincolnshire, and we were doing them in the UK because of the exchange rate, bro, because your pound was worth $1.52 to our dollar, bro. You guys were so strong. We were so weak. Guys, this is what's crazy about business. And I want y'all to hear this shit right crazy because me and this guy can reminisce on this time period right after bananas, right after the banana craze, right after we made tons of money on bananas, right? Bananas were down to like $1,000 or some shit.
This same guy, Paul, he bought a banana off of Mike Wilbanks when they were $6,000. Yeah. And he said to me that basically he must have bought the only gay banana on the planet, because by the time he got this boy to breed 2 years later, banana was £400.
Yeah, I remember him really bitching about that male and I kept telling him, bro, you need to buy more. You need to buy more. You need to buy more. Because he and I were on the phone a lot back then. Wilbanks and I talked a lot during that time period. And I was in with my partner and Galen Clark with Biothon. He and I bought the banana together. And this is what was crazy was Galen Biothon, my partner with bananas. Galen was working for an oil and gas company here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Well, they have gas interests all over the world, right? So Galen would schedule his oil and gas meetings and his pitches around Houghton and Ham. So he would go to the shows, right? So what I would do is I would make up a price list, because the way you guys did it back then, you guys have to understand, especially in the chat. I hope you guys are really fresh on this idea, but they didn't know how to price shit overseas. So all they did was go to our websites and our kingsnake.com and shit. And if it was $300 US, it was 300 pounds or it was 300 euro. It wasn't 261 euro or 172 pounds. They didn't do the conversion. They didn't like make it, oh, it's $300 US, so we're going to break it down with no. Y'all just switch the signs. So my boy was like, dude, let's try this. Jim's got the pet shop in with this other dude in Lincolnshire. He's got customers coming through the reptile store. Make me up a price list. Switch the symbol from dollars to pounds. The retail list, the retail price list. Okay. We'll send the price list over there. We'll tell them, we'll give them 20% off the entire price list as a discount to sell. Then when we turn it back into American dollars, the way it worked out, bro, is I gave them a 20% discount, 25% discount on everything to buy. We put one giant box together, sent it over. Then by the time it came back, okay, I did the math. At the time, Mike, I was averaging my year my retail reptile, my retail price on a ball python average, okay, to what I was getting was about 35% disparaged from retail, right? Like if retail was $100, I was taking $35 off of it to get it out the door. Like 65, you'll take it. 65, all right, good, sell it, go. That was the disparagement in my average year, because when you get to be a big company and you have an accountant and you're paying them and you have computers around you, you can track this kind of shit, right? So we track it with my partner and we tracked it out. And dude, I sold like $15,000 worth of ball pythons in one shipment, and I gave an average of 4% off with the exchange rate. And I said, you know what? Because of the exchange rate, just because of the motherfucking exchange rate. Like I just saw a Canadian guy advertise ReptiChip going into the show for $30 a brick. And I'm like, who the fuck's getting $30 for a brick? And I'm like, oh yeah, he's in Canada. And the money is in the toilet right now. You know? But yeah, dude, it was crazy time.
So back in them days, Paul would meet Mike at Ham, and whatever Mike didn't sell on the day, instead of Mike taking it back to the States, he used to give it to Paul on sale or return. And basically, by the time Mike would come back for the next show, Paul would have to have his money for him.
Right.
You know, and it worked perfectly for them for years and years, until all of a sudden your market became stronger than ours. And Mike just basically cut him off and told him that's not happening anymore.
Now, let me ask you this, not to get into a sticky conversation, because I'd like to, first of all, I owe Mike Wilbanks and his wife an apology about something I did in the past, but I'll handle that personally on my own. But not to get too personal at the Wilbanks situation, but didn't that revolve something around him and Bob getting pinched in the airport for the tax evasion in the UK? Bob Clark got caught in the UK coming in lying about the tax importation. You never heard about that? That was a very big thing. Okay. All right. Well, we don't really have to get into it. It was just a thing where, you know, everybody lies on VAT taxes. I'm sorry. Everybody lies. Right? I mean, everybody lies. I'm not exporting right now, but I guarantee you who was exporting for me last time probably lied. Just saying. I mean, like if you were in Taiwan, like what's your VAT tax? 20%? 20%?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So one motherfucking $10,000 ball python, before you even pay the shipping fee and all of that shit, costs you $2,000 just in fucking tax. And a low white piebald ball python can pass as a $15 normal when they were fucking $10,000. Okay. I'm just saying, like, what do you think I don't know what Chun Koo went to jail for with Dynasty going in, like, because him and Daisuke got pinched doing some stuff. I think it was just declaration errors and shit like that. But if it's the taxes, because Clark and what ended up happening, bro, was Bob and Mike were traveling together constantly. This was probably before you're talking about. This might have been even before. This might have been the reason that Mike split off from Bob, because Bob wasn't doing this with Paul, right?
No,
it was just Mike, right? Just Wilbanks. We'd have to ask Mike about that history and get it all totally straight. But yeah, dude, Bob got pinched at Heathrow for lying about the import value of the animals, because they opened up the bags and they were like, oh, there's a banana, it's $20,000. You said it was fucking $5. You said it was an albino for 100. It's not an albino. We know what it looks like. We can go to King Snake. We know what it looks like. And basically the story I heard was he turned around and was like, pointed at Wilbanks and said, well, what about him? He's doing it too. And Mike got in trouble too. And that is where Wilbanks and Clark separated. You know, so like in that case, like you had, I mean, I know why me and my best friend that came up on it with me, I'm not going to say under me because that's disrespectful, right? Like, because Wilbanks came up with Bob Clark, but he definitely was like an under at that point. I wouldn't say Tim Bailey and I had that history, but we definitely went wrong by something I did wrong to him. So like, I understand it from the wronging side, but you know, I mean, I was the one that wronged him. You know what I mean? But from the Wilbanks side, bro, I don't know what it feels like to be the wronged. You know what I mean? I know what it feels like to be the fucking Bob, but I don't know what it feels like to be the guy that got like kind of stabbed. You know what I mean? And so in that case, like it's probably very tender, even still, of a conversation. So it's probably good that we're talking about it in the third person. But I mean, really, they both survived it business wise. And look at Wilbanks, bro. I mean, he's like fucking, he's on the fucking, he's on the up.
He produces so many. People don't realize how many animals Mike is producing every year.
He loves Bill Brandt's machine. He always respected the machine, bro. You know as well as I do, it's a machine. You know you can work it like that. You know you can do it.
Well, you know, this is my theory with how I feed my animals and how I do my work, Sean.
Well, let's move on to the machine, bro. The machine that grows a 2,000 plus gram female in 18 months. So that's good. Maybe 16 months. That's good. That's great. Maybe sooner. I don't know. I'm going to let them judge you. Why don't you tell us more about that? I mean, imagine you went into some detail with Kershawn on that other show, which, by the way, why don't we plug that show real quick? What was that? GP Snakes?
GP Snakes, yeah.
GP Snakes did an interview with Mike the other night where he shouted out to me, which in turn made me shout out to him because I really was interested in hearing his opinions on how things go over there. So, yeah, dude, bring me through your ball python feeding theory and all that stuff. I mean, you got Big D down here saying, Mike, you're awesome. You got a lot of people in your corner. So, you know, and hey, here's good old Joel. You know, we mentioned you in the pre-show, Joel. It was a good show you guys had last night with MJ. Great show you had. And, you know, I look forward maybe to having you here on the shit show one day. You know, because we didn't do enough in that 5 fucking hour. You know, he said it earlier. He said 8 hours. Big Mike said 8 hours, but no, 5 hours or whatever it was.
Only pretty... 5, Sean. I'm sure it was longer.
I don't know, bro. I was a little off the chain. 5 hours is a little. It was right in this room too, bro. But when the green screen wasn't there, it was in this same exact room that I'm sitting in right now. So yeah, I'm still hauling it. So yeah, but no, Joel did a great job. Everything was good. You know, absolutely, you deserve it. I mean, it looked really nice. You guys just sit out on your couch like that with your drinks and shit. I got to get this room set up better. You know, I wish I could use a couch, man. Everybody's gonna feel uncomfortable sitting on a cushy couch when I'm in this fucking wheelchair. So yeah, dude, it was a good show. I didn't catch the beginning. I got to go back and listen to the whole Joel's view on 50K ball pythons on Morph Market, but I'm gonna get back to that. But yeah, dude, tell me about your feeding the ball pythons. Then we'll go back to the market in the UK and we'll go to Morph Market in the UK and all that.
And I want to talk about the puzzle because I want you to tell people on here how the puzzle came to happen.
Okay, so like I'm gonna tell people on here. All right, so while you're telling me about how you feed snakes, I'm gonna go see if I can pull this puzzle video together so you guys can see the real deal. So yeah, you go ahead. Or puzzle audio, I should say. Yeah. Yeah. So you tell us about the snake feeding and stuff from baby on up, you know, from hatchling out the deal.
So before I talk about how I feed, I want to tell you why I feed like that, Sean. Because, you know, I don't know about in the States, but in the UK, they'll tell you, don't start your snakes on mice because they'll get stuck on mice and you won't be able to get them onto rats. There's the first thing. And so then now everybody is telling you to feed rats and people are feeding like a rat pup. Okay.
Yeah. So
this is where the feeding style is going. Yeah. So that's the feeding style in the UK. And so my logic was, hang on, that rat pup in the wild is drinking milk from its mum and it's down a burrow and it's not out in the wild foraging for food. It's next to its mum. That 75 gram, 80 gram ball python, if it goes down that rat hole and tries to take one of those pups away from that 250 gram mother rat, she's going to eat him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Yeah.
So the ball python can't be eating rat pups. So my logic is it needs to be eating some sort of prey item that at 15 to 17 grams is out in the wild foraging for food. And so based on that logic, I will start on mice. Now, you can start with the truth is, Sean, I feed mice maybe for 9 to 10 weeks maximum, but slightly increasing the size every 3rd week. And on the 10th week, it's eating a mouse that is equivalent to 35 to 40 gram weaned rat. By now, it's so in the program that you can give it a fish finger or a chicken fillet and it will eat it. Yeah.
Hey guys, whoever keeps begging for a fucking Tracy Barker interview, you're listening to it right now. This is like hearing Tracy talk about the difference of feeding mice and a rat if you get intimately close with it. I mean, it really is. She's like, yeah, the calcium structure and the protein is higher, and it's like, and I'm like, you know, you're right. I mean, I did see what Burmese and Buretics did when I put them on pigs from rabbits. I mean, when they ended up getting a pig's skull, which probably has more calcium in it than the entire fucking skeleton of a rabbit, and then they get the rest of the body of the pig, and then all the fat, and then all the protein, and you see one meal go like, whoa, and it's like, wow, that's fucking incredible. Pigs are the way to go. You know, you want to know why prehistoric pets animals look like fucking lard turd ass fucking socks full of bowling balls? That it's because of fucking pigs, because there's so much in it, and it's so easy to get in America, and it's so prevalent in big giant stuff. But if you compare the animal's growth to a rabbit animal, dude, I don't know that like Jake Klotz could keep like tons of heavy pig dieted retics, because they wouldn't be able to live in the cages he keeps them in anymore. You know what I mean? They big fat beefy turds and stuff. And to rewind you just a little bit, because I know I was working on, I'm downloading this video now. It says it downloaded. I don't know if it worked, but dude, boa constrictor people, all of you boa people, and I'm talking BCI, BCC, especially BCC, especially little rundown, imported, wormy, squirmy Guyana and Suriname locales of boas that are still farmed in shitty places and shipped off with shitty care, right? These animals never, ever, never, ever should get a rat with milk in its gut, ever. If you want to fuck with them when they're little. If you really want to fuck with them when they're little, you'll get hoppers that are like premature, like the hoppers that are kind of starving, kind of lanky, that have more hair and bones than they have gut and meat. And they will drive your baby boas forward, right? And the roughage mentality there has a lot to do with it. In the complete inverse for hognose, right? So yeah, you're absolutely right. Snakes and doggies, thanks a lot. You caught me, like, they're stepping in and cut me off. So you're right. So, but I had to focus back on that hopper thing that he mentioned specifically for boas too, because he's talking about ball pythons. But in the boa world, you guys can really equate this when you have problems. So when they step in and like spank me a little bit now, see, they couldn't do that back in the day. Now they can do that. So it's fine. I can respect it. It's all right. So yeah, keep me going on the on the equivalent of the mouse to the weanling rat, and then you step up to rats at what phase?
So yeah, and so basically then that, you know, if you feed religiously on time once a week, that you can give that animal a small wean for 5-6 weeks, then around 5-6 weeks after the 9 weeks that it's had on mice, right? So now after about 5-6 weeks, you can give it maybe you find a small wean in the pack, you know, because we buy defrost, right? So
okay,
I'll
so you're all frozen.
I'm all frozen. All frozen. I've got another little tip. All my people heard it on Gershon's show, but I'll drop that one in a minute as well about feeding. So what will happen is that when you buy that packet of 10 small weaned rats, they'll be within a weight range. Yeah. And so you'll get one straggly one, and I'll pick that one, and that animal that I've been giving it one small wean for the last 6-7 weeks, I'll give it that little straggly small weaned on top. Once it takes that next week, I put it on a large wean, and then it will stay on a large weaned rat until it's about a year old, but it will get maybe a small weaned on top every second week or something, just to give it a little bit of extra. And then once you start breeding them, but listen, Sean, by then, by the time they get to 14 months, they're on average between 12 and 1600 grams. Yeah. And then if they're feeding well at 1200 grams in August, then you can pencil them in for the breeding, and they're just going to arrive at the gate at the right time. And that actually just throws the 1,000-gram wool out of the window, because the 1,000-gram wool is a female that is sexually mature, that is not being bred, and so won't bother to eat because she has no need to eat, because she's not going to be pregnant. And if you breed her, or if you get her up to a better weight in that year, because you stop feeding rat pups at the beginning, because I believe that it's that first 9 weeks that will determine the growth of that animal, because that first 9 weeks where they're getting that high protein diet, they will grow super fast, Sean.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's different than I did it, right? Like we talked about pre-show. We talked about my 5-a-week feeding thing. PCF Funny Royal said, but isn't this basically like that? I mean, they have a need to be opportunists so they can grow as fast as possible so they don't become prey, right? I mean, look, I did it as a Pavlovian training exercise. I started feeding a male ball python when it was on, like, I wait for like the 10th meal, right? Like its 10th meal or so. We feed it every day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We fed it every fucking day, but a very small meal. Yes, sir. A very small meal. Now, when that male hit 500 grams, he got knocked back to 2 small meals a week. Then when he hit 1,000 grams, he got moved from a 28 quart bin in this room right here to a full size, or no, to a 28 quart bin here to a 28 quart bin here, right? Different room, different climate, but same box setup, right? That's how I did it. And the greatest thing I noticed was that as they went through breeding season, my animals would breed and feed and breed and feed and never go off food. And one day, and there's so many people that probably don't believe this because it's a Sean story and it sounds like a fishing tale. But there was one day that I had a male puzzle breeding the original Super Pastel puzzle female. Whoever got her now, I don't know who has her now. But she and he were in coitus, locked up with peen penetration. And I killed 2 rats and I put them in front of them and they both ate while in coitus. And it is the most insane thing. Now, I've seen ball pythons do every which way thing. Okay. But it's the most insane thing that I have ever seen them do. And both of those animals were feed trained like that as younger animals. And so it's like, dude, I think there's something there with my method. I think there's something there with your method. And I said it on the podcast last night with MJ and Joel. The ball python, Bill Brandt told me, the ball python's the most individualistic animal that he's ever worked with. And I agree. They're fucking weird. There's some to do this and some to do that. And
well, the thing is, Sean, the thing is that we're constantly told, oh, ball pythons, oh, they're fussy as, oh, this hard to, they don't eat very well. They go off food and stuff like that,
That's an old pet shop rumor, bro, from like back when the shit was all wild caught, though.
The thing is that in a way that has been inbred into people, and there is this fear about this ball python not eating very well. Here's another thing, Sean, that you were just talking about that male, and I just want to raise 2 points. Firstly, I believe that in the wild, ball pythons eat more often and a smaller prey rather than less often and a bigger prey. This is why I don't like this 2 weekly feeding. I believe that weekly feeding is much better than 2 weekly feeding. I believe that a smaller item every week is better than a bigger item every 2 weeks.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, but then again, look, I grew up on these colubrid guys down here in the South, and you wouldn't believe the Florida king snakes they'd have would be this fucking big around. Tim Ricks was one of them's name. And I said, how often you feed these snakes, Tim? He said, when my snakes eat, I eat. And he'd pat his belly. When I eat, my snakes eat. And he'd pat his belly. And I'm like, are you kidding? And he's like, oh, no, I feed them every day. And I'm like, you feed your colubrids every day? And these things were ginormous.
I don't know about feeding my bull pythons every day, but
fuck no.
so,
First of all, they wouldn't stand up to it. They just won't stand up to it. They won't. They won't do it. They won't do it physically. They won't do it mentally. They just won't fucking do it. I mean, they will shut down on you if you do it to them. But I think if you train them,
I don't subscribe to the theory that you should keep males small and withhold their food to keep them small. That most of my good breeders are in excess of 1,400 grams, and some of them are close on 2,000 grams.
Yeah, I'm just an insufferable motherfucker that lived off the exploitation of animals, bro. That's all. I mean, I'm just saying, like, at that point, yeah, when you're looking at males and you're like, oh, I got to keep 300 males. Yeah, I need 28 quart males. And yeah, they're 1,200 gram males. They're all 1,200 gram males. That's a big one. Like 1,400 grams is like, whoa, hold down. Look out, sucker. You're getting a little large there.
But you know, the thing is, Sean, that when you use a male like that, when you use a male like that, about a month after, I breed on a 6 month on, 6 month off cycle. That's how I like to breed. I feed on a Sunday. I pair on a Tuesday. I take them out on a Friday, and then I feed on a Sunday again. That's my weekly rotation. Yeah. When you're working with a large male, he maybe will stop feeding 1 month into his 6 month cycle. But because he's 1,600 grams, bro, you don't need to worry about it. My man will just work and produce the clutches for you. And then as soon as he realizes that there's no more pum-pum, now he's going to start eating again. Now he's going to start. And here's the, Sean, I'm a bookkeeping person. I've got books for all of my snakes. I record the feeding, the shedding. I know
that's good.
When, and so I can look at a male, and I've got males that I've never bred with. I've got males that I've never bred with, but they still stop eating every breeding season around the same week. And then they pick back up when the breeding season finishes, because all my animals in the same room. If you want to keep your males on food that you're not using, put them in another room, because once they can smell what's going on, they're going to stop eating themselves, in the hope. The bigger males, not the smaller males, the bigger males. The bigger males will just stop eating because maybe they were bred last year and they're like, oh, I know what's going on. I'm going to stop eating now because my turn's going to come around soon. Right. And then you don't breed them, and then they just stay off food all season. And then as soon as the season ends, they'll go back on food again. But when these animals are 12, 14, 1,600 grams, you don't need to be concerned by it, because they're in that mode where they're just conserving energy.
Yeah, I only had one male, maybe two males in 20 years actually run themselves into the fucking dirt. Like, literally, I'm not eating shit. I'm breeding until I'm dead. I'm running myself in the fucking dirt. I mean, and like literally fucking like one season, like, it's fucking nothing. No ASF, no boiled mouth, no fucking throw it in the air. Don't put it in a bag. Bring it in the car. Ship it to your friend. I don't give a fuck. You know, like, you did every goddamn thing. Put it in the back of the car in a bag. Ship, like you said, ship it to your friend. Bring it to the post office. Throw it to the guy. Like, juggle it. Like, say, hey, look, I can juggle 2 ball pythons. Maybe I can juggle 3. You know, like, dude, every fucking trick we knew. Chicken broth, tuna fish. Fuck you. Every fucking trick we knew except shoving it in the cow's ass, we would do to try to get this thing to eat, and nothing. And you know what? We could thank the Sloan brothers for that. Thanks a lot for that motherfucking mimosa that would set records, dude. Set records. Crashed like a motherfucker, but you know what's crazy, Big Mike? It bred at 295 fucking grams. It bred 3 females. 295 grams, dude. That's wild. I got corn snakes from 3 years ago to weigh that much. I mean, it's crazy how tiny this fucking snake was, but it didn't eat for shit. I had to fuck with a snake through its whole life, dude. And it was when mimosas were a bank, Mike. It was like I paid them motherfuckers. I gave them a puzzle for it. I don't know where their puzzle ended up going, but they got a puzzle, and Ben Rennick got a puzzle. Each one of them got a puzzle for a mimosa, and that was a trade. Really, that was a legitimate trade. A high-end puzzle for a mimosa, fucking straight out champagne fucking hype.
Look how the difference, the gap that now is between.
It wasn't, it wasn't about me getting a mimosa though. It was about Ben Rennick having a puzzle. It was about You know what I mean? It was about the Sloans. You remember them two boys were on fire for like fucking half a decade. Them two were like the Justin Kabilka up and comers for like half a decade, you know? And we talked about an interesting thing about that earlier in the show too. But your raising of your snakes is definitely different. How many animals do you raise? Let me go back to that real quick. So I do want to tackle the number first, because with that practice comes a number.
I'm kind of strict as to what my total amount of breeder females is. So what happens is that I will constantly be rotating my females at the moment, because I didn't come in with money. I came in with a strategy, and I bought one male clown, and I bought a load of adult female co-dominant. I grew him up, and I bred him to all of those females to make my own het clowns.
Another fucking clown person.
Sorry, I'm sorry. And
it's all right, dude. It's all right. If I'd have known that funny car had so many miles on it, bro, I'd have rode its coattails all the way to the fucking circus. Ain't no doubt in my mind. I'd be a clowned up motherfucker. But you know what? I remember when Pro Exotics said, "Yeah, we're not going to do this ball python thing." I think we missed it.
Missed it. we
before Redline shipping, before Redline science, before Ship Your Reptiles, before, I mean, this is like, dude, this is before. When I say before, I mean like there's now, and then there was then, and this was then. And I remember them publicly saying on King Snake, we're not going to chase the ball python thing, we don't think, because we think it's done. And Robin said it publicly since, and so has Chad. They both been like, dude, you want to talk about egg on our face? You know, whenever they were like, oh man, we don't think this has any more legs. So, I mean, bro, fuck. I didn't think it would come this far. I really didn't think it would come this far. I didn't think the combos would continue to look like crazy new things that no one would ever see before. I really didn't. I thought we would be like, what is that saying? The more things change, the more they stay the same. I thought like me would be like, oh, it's a spider pinstripe Mojave, and it's a fucking, you know, spider calico fucking lemon blast, blah, 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 you know, whatever. And then they ended up looking exactly the same, and they had completely different composures. Because in a period, I did see that. I saw that. And now I don't see that. So what's your take? I mean, you think you got a lot of runway in the world? I mean, I hear you got some crazy new stuff and things going on there that people admire. I've heard some things.
I've got my own Dinka gene that appeared out of one of my clowns. I'm one of those guys, Sean, that actually I would love for somebody to tell me if it's something else, because I don't want to just name it for the sake of naming it, because I'm not that guy. Yeah. If it's new, it's new. If it isn't, then that's fine. At least I know that what I have, and I can market it based on its value, based on what it is. Yeah. But until I work it out, you know, I've produced single genes, I've produced loads, because this gene happened to be attached to my male clown that I bought to run through all these co-dominant females. So subsequently, this gene has appeared in basically a lot of the combos that I made that are now het clown. You know, I've produced what I think is the single gene clown of this animal, but I'll know for sure next season, because I'm breeding the single gene het clown to a clean male clown with no co-dom genes attached to it, just so I can get that clean animal to be sure of what I'm producing.
And so that's it. Okay. So like you have this process where you have to isolate the gene, you have to test the gene, you have to see what the gene is by itself, you have to see how the gene's inherited, you have to see if there's a super, you have to see if the super is inherited. I mean, like, okay, this is what responsible people that have white hair and white beards and should have white hair and white. I'm not sure why I haven't gone white yet, bro. I don't think I'm going to go white. I think I'm going to go like this weird dark gray before I like lose it all. But I'm telling you right now, we're older. We come from a time period where you have to prove yourself to claim yourself. Fuck, fake it till you make it didn't come out until the 90s, bro. I mean, I don't really know how else to say it. Like, fake it till you make it did not come out until 1992 or something like that. I mean, really, like, I don't know when the fucking millennial switch flipped and people changed and people said, ooh, I got to name this. It looks slightly different. I'm going to name it now, because if I don't name it now and it turns out to be something later, I'm going to have given away the magic chip, you know? And it's like, well, fuck, dude. What do you think happened to me? I happened to me with ultra male corn snakes, bro. I'm sitting there trying to test it, trying to figure it out. Those of you who don't follow corn snakes, would you imagine if you had a ultra male ball python, that only looked like it looks when you bred it to an albino, and then it was its own morph that act recessively when bred to any other gene? Okay. Now throw that in the mix in 2003 when we didn't know shit about how any of this stuff in ball pythons were inherited. Shit about retics. Shit about Burmese. Shit about crested geckos. Right? We didn't know any of that, did we, Mike? We didn't know that shit. No, we had to test it. And here I am testing this ultra male against A males. And I'm like, why does it only come out when I breed it to albino? But then it comes out differently when I breed it to everything else, but it takes 2 generations to do that. Why does it act codom with this one and recessive with these? And you know what somebody did? They named it I was calling it T positive question mark because I was trying to get to the T positive albino corn snake. I was just going to call it the caramel albino corn. But you know what they called it? The ultramel. And somebody came out and named it before there was an explanation for it. And I'm like, here I am. I'm 6 years into this fucking thing. What the fuck? How come my name doesn't count? And there you go. So, I mean, fuck, dude, you're right. You're right. And there was another corn morph that I completely missed that a guy like you separated and named it. And I didn't get to name it. My name went away. His name stuck because he's the one that separated. He's the one that did the work. And so I appreciate you for doing that, bro. Clap, clap, clap for you doing that. Because Mike Faircloth, the starter of Puzzle, the original guy that had it before me, he did that. He listened to me. He kept everything. He didn't sell anything. So, you know, if that's our quick segue, we'll throw it up real quick. You want to do that?
Yeah.
If that's our segue, look, here it is. So guys, you go to YouTube, search the puzzle history ball python. That's the best I could do. And the very first video to pretty much come up is this one. It's not a video, it's an audio file, and I can't play it because I'm pretty sure there's no sound. I tried downloading it or whatever from here. Like, how do you download a video? I'm not this YouTube savvy, right? The downloads thing, I think, just allows me to view it offline. But I don't think I can listen to it right here. I'll have to download it. But you guys can all go listen to it. It's 16 minutes and 33 seconds long. I will link it in the description. Sadly, only 4,000 views in 9 years, you know. But this is the puzzle story from start to finish. The exact everything that happened from the time that it started to the time that I uploaded this video, which was in what? Where's the data on that? Does it show October 27, 2013? So at this point, this project had hatched first in 2008. I believe 2009 is when I sold it first. 2008 is when we saw it first. I started marketing it in 2009 because it repeated itself twice in the same breeding. So I knew it was marketable like that, you know. But anyway, this story right here was referenced on Morphpedia. If you go to Morph Market, to the new Morph Market layout, if you haven't seen it yet, with the drop tabs to Morphpedia, go to ball pythons, go to this wonderful list.
Fancy now, isn't it, Sean? Morph Market.
Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, it's wonderful. This is what happens when someone listens. You know what I mean?
I love the information button. I love the information button.
Oh, yeah, I'm on the Morphpedia itself. But, yeah, you guys can reach it either way. I'm on Morphpedia, but if we go to Morph Market, if we go to the categories and we go to the sale pages, you can get to it. Click that little I, guys, if you want to learn more about the puzzle gene. You can click that little I. And it says first produced in 2011. That's because that's when the base gene was seen. We never saw a puzzle by itself. This one right here, we never saw a puzzle. Purple Church brought this up. I think Palumbo took all your views on the puzzle story because that's where I heard first about the origin of the gene. That was in Tinley Park the year I was selling scaleless heads, bro. So that was like, that was almost 8 years, almost a decade after the whole morph started when I did that interview with Palumbo. But this was the very first normal puzzle scene back, or that wasn't the exact one. This was a later one, but the very first one, actually, I don't know if Tim Bailey still owns it, but Tim Bailey is the owner of the very first visual puzzle ever. It was a male, and I was very tight on money, and I sold it to Tim, which ironically, the next year I produced another male that was way prettier that had that weirdo gene in it that I think really set everybody's things off. But so you guys scroll down the Morphpedia page to puzzle and you can read the history. It's very brief synopsis here. I need to get John to link the YouTube to this page And I think
Yeah,
all of
it
you
would be a
guys with
bad idea.
morphs,
That would
Mike,
be a bad idea.
you agree with that? Yeah. Sorry. My mic's kind of overrunning. I'm sorry. Um, Purple Church was the name of a strip club where I grew up. Oh yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's not the video. It's not. I agree with you. It's not really a video, but it's on YouTube. I put it on YouTube for permanence, right? So that I didn't have to pay for it, so that nobody would have to like lose it, to where it was something permanent. Because there's like, how many people have a story, right? Mike, how many morph stories are on YouTube in permanence from the person that named them? Like this one? I mean, like, really, like I don't really know how many. You tell me how it is.
Oh,
But yeah, Hot Glass says I will always think of Will Morose when I hear puzzle. When Will Morose bought puzzle from me, he was like a 16-year-old kid whose parents were veterinarians investing in his reptile enterprise. So yeah, dude, he called me and I said, Will, your future is right here in front of you, bro. Buy it. He bought it.
there's a very smart man there, Wilmer Rose at RCR.
Yeah.
I don't know Will at all, but he's one of the few people that I follow that, you know, that aren't my people. And basically, this guy is he's killing it, man.
Well, dude, you know, the great thing about him is his parents are veterinarians, dude. So he's got a rich animal history in himself, you know? So, like, he doesn't need to go prove himself to me to not be a fucking moron when it comes to animals, when I know he's got that background, you know? It's actually kind of surprising to me that he's into animals, to be honest with you, with his parents being veterinarians. Because, like, I have a friend who's an engineer.
Is it right?
Oh, bro, my friend's an engineer, and he fucking loves machines with me. 3D printers and fucking all kind of cool shit we geek out on. But you know what? His parents owned an exotic animal zoo in Las Vegas, Nevada. And they raised monkeys and lions and had a fucking elephant and all kind of shit. And his mom is like 75, bro. And she's like ripped and she's like 5 feet tall. And her whole entire left leg thigh is a safari tattoo. And this woman is like a little fucking bulldog, little redhead, tiny little redhead. And she's got these like lions and shit all tattooed down her leg. And her son is so anti-animal, bro. He's into fish tanks because of the technical shit. He's into saltwater fish tanks because of all the machinery. That's it. He's like, I only like the gadgetry. If it wasn't for the gadgetry, I wouldn't fucking do this hobby. It's like nature and science. It's like engineering meets nature. And that doesn't really happen.
Like to tweak with all the machinery and get the balances and it's technical, right?
So technical that these motherfuckers are buying signs. This is a black acrylic sign. It's still got the paper on it. Buying these signs from me that light up, that show a brand that they bought. So like if you bought a Zoom Ed cage and you loved it so much that you went to a guy like me and bought a Zoom Ed sign to put over your Zoom Ed cage, these dudes are fucking into it. Like they're that into it. I just got an order today for 20 boards and 14 signs. So, you know, yeah, they're fucking into it, bro. And like, I'm not making reptile cages. I love reptile people, you know, that stuff. And look, Corey Woods, great. You know, Corey Woods have nice puzzles as well. Also a politician. I'm not sure what that means, but Corey and I go back in the day. Corey and I are almost the same age. We actually are the same age. Corey's 43. Happy birthday, Corey. I believe he's also a Scorpio of 1979. So,
well, I just, you know, when you mention Corey Woods, I can throw out there immediately the Het Red Exantic.
Oh, yeah. And you know where he got that?
Well, I have Amir's line. I have Lace Blackback.
Lace Blackback green pastel. Right.
Yeah,
so and I heard you the other night, and I'm gonna correct you. Ooh, you ready for this?
Yeah.
You ready for this, Mike? I wholeheartedly agree that green pastel and lace blackback are exactly the same. I disagree. What's that?
Green pastel is an AKA. It's not actually technically a morph.
Correct.
It's lace blackback, AKA green pastel.
Correct. But it again was two people with two different views that didn't get along. It was Amir, and I don't remember who green pastel was. You have to tell me who green pastel was. It wasn't Matt Lara, because Amir and Matt Lara were
the same, Sean.
Het Red Exantic and Lori are actually different, and here's why. I bred them all together. I had a Lori from Lori, I had Het Reds from Corey, and I had lace blackbacks from Tim Bailey that he got from Amir. And I made a super.
What's that? which one is different and which two are the same?
Okay, I think green pastel lace blackback is the exact same thing. You can call it an AKA because it's exactly the same thing. I believe het red axanthic and and your lace blackback and Lori, I believe they are independently 3 different expressions of the same allele of that gene group. Okay, no different than Mackenzie and vanilla and fire. No different than yellow belly, asphalt and gravel. No different. Okay. And the reason why is because I made a super, Tim Bailey and I made a super between a het red, a known Corey Woods het red, and a known Amir lace blackback. And I mean the lace with the white around the trim, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, look at that. Yeah, see? I know what time it is, bro. I don't even have one here. I haven't had one here in fucking like 5 years. I know exactly what time it is, though.
I'm about 5 days out, Sean. She's about to drop me her first clutch. This is an animal that I bought in, and that you know yourself when you buy animals in and they get maintenance fed and stuff like that. It takes longer to get them up to weight. You know that they don't go on that program because they don't start on that program. But she's about 4 or 5 days away from dropping me a het clown clutch.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So that's actually the comment that caught my attention on Gershon's interview the best. Like when you said those 3 were the same thing, I said, you know what? You know who the only motherfucker that Lori ever sold the first Loris to and actually got real money for them from?
So
So
when you put them together, Sean, do you get the super that looks the same? Or is it a slight?
And that's the thing. They're slightly different. The Lori will put, dude, this is from memory from a long time ago, bro. The Lori gene made the supers totally zigzag down the back, like a zigzag line down the back. And the other one's supers were more striped. It was a very easy way to see it. And I did it a few years. And it was in a time period where nobody gave a fuck. It was in a period where Brian and I had some stalemates, right? Public stalemates, private stalemates. Chris Eaton brought it up, didn't he, on the show that we started this season with? And he mentioned the Lori that I sold for $1. And I said that I sold it for $1, free shipping, $1.25 is all this fucking thing is worth, or some shit. I sold it on Facebook in 5 seconds for $1.25, literally, just for a statement, just because it was like, I'm fucking done with you guys. I'm so done. I regret a lot of that, not all of it. Some of it was deserved, but some of it wasn't, right? But the carrying on of the gene, in other words, of Lori, I kind of wish we had some more purity and knowledge that this Lori is really a Lori. If you got that Lori from me, whoever you are in the world, if you got either of those Loris, the female or the male from me, please tell me you kept track of them. Because I do feel that they had something to offer. I really do. Especially when I saw what John Dyer did with Puzzle and Vanilla and het red axanthic the other day. I fucking would love to see Lori in that instead of het red. Ooh, it makes me fucking shit.
Have you seen it with leopard? Have you seen it with leopard? Sure.
Yeah, I've kept tabs on puzzles the entire time. So I've seen pretty much every puzzle morph there's been. And
no, the het red with the leopard.
Oh, het red with leopard? I'm sure I've seen it. I'm
the
sure
red,
it's sexy.
basically a red axanthic leopard, so the super plus leopard. And the thing almost looks like monsoony. It's just speckled all down the side.
And there you go. You've been able to engineer a high-end morph with a few low-end morphs in a couple generations. And that's interesting as well. And yeah, here goes our boy, Mr. Zavala. Yes, Fedman said that. He certainly did. That I did sell that Lori for $1.25. And to be honest with you, regret every minute of it. Like I have to go look back and look at who gave me $1.25 in PayPal. I have to go search for that transaction. See who that was and be like, hey, what happened to it? And you know, they're going to say, oh yeah, my wife divorced me and I got lost interest and I let them sit in the shed and they all died in the heat exposure. And because I'm so sick of hearing that too, bro. So what the fuck, right? How's that over in the UK, bro? How's the cycle of ball python breeder? Is it flipping fast? Do you see a lot of guys up and down? Like I see a lot of guys up and down here. I'm like, hey, what happened to that guy? Oh, he's selling real estate now.
you know, the truth is that you know yourself that COVID kind of gave our industry like almost like a boost, right? Because people were at home, people were buying more stuff, people were getting in.
Oh, the
You
pet industry
hear
went insane.
that girl you were
Off the
plugging
chain.
earlier for the 15 minutes of lame. She calls herself a COVID baby because she got into the game during COVID.
During
That's
COVID. Right.
yeah, and I
Right.
guess that in the UK that there's a lot more keepers than breeders. There's a lot of keepers, and you get people. Listen, I showed Paul an animal about 3 months ago. I told him, Paul, do you want this? He said, oh, definitely. I know somebody. He'll buy that just because it's so aesthetically pleasing. He doesn't breed. He just wants pretty snakes, and he'll just eat that up, Mike. So you know, and there's a cycle of breeders. I think there's going to be a cycle coming up sort of right now because you know the fact that Justin is openly talking about the market shrinking, and actually here's the truth, Sean. Why shouldn't our market shrink? That
Exactly
we
right.
have a global recession going on. That
Exactly right. You can't have a bull run always, bro. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
so
50,360 ball pythons in Morph market, as we say this. We bring this up all the time. And you know, that's the thing. I think a couple people, I'm not going to mention names, thought when I get back behind this mic, that I would say horrible, heinous shit about this marketplace. And honestly, I could see where they would say that about me. But at the same time, can I speculate on the market that I was part of making a big? I mean, we were big parts of making things. You know what I mean? Will Banks was a huge. I remember competing with Mike to buy snakes, bro, with 25 grand, like saying, I'll buy it. And they're like, yeah, but Will Banks is a bigger banner. And he's going to a show with him. He's going to Europe now. And no, I want it. I'll pay more. And yeah, but he'll pay more. And it's like, dude, that was the people that made Ralph Davis made this. Pete Call made this. Dan and Colette Sutherland made this. BPI made. I could keep going. Nerd made this. I didn't really make this, but I was definitely a part in making and holding it up. And to now see Morph Market where it is, I mean, Jesus Christ, 224 items. I mean, do we really buy that? No, we don't buy that. But at the same time, it's probably what, 170, 150? Like what? You take a stab at it, Mike. I mean, what are we talking about for a gene? Like what constitutes a name now, bro?
well, I don't know how it's perception, right?
Huh? Yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, it's perception, but like when I see 29 cinders, and I'm not picking on cinders specifically, but I
But
see
because
29 cinders, and I don't see any super cinders.
but the problem is, Sean, is that with a lot of this stuff, um, unless we go down that real big rabbit hole where everything is genetic tested, and we could start saying that het red exantic and lace blackback are different, and we proved it genetically, you
Wish
know,
that wasn't a
that,
lamb.
that basically you listen. I'll raise a gene now because it's a gene that I work with, and I see people touting hurricane het. I saw on Instagram a hurricane het clown the other day, male, not make the whole back rack, blah blah blah. Honestly, I've got trick het clowns here that I produced myself this past season, and they're at least 30 to 40% better looking animals. Because for
So
me,
in the world of genetic testing, and we test trick, we test hurricane, we test blitz, all come back positive somehow being the same thing. What name sticks? The first one or the one that's selling the best? Because
what you
that's the
see,
fuckery on Hurricane. That's the fuckerina on Hurricane, bro. Will said, I'm going to let you answer that. Think about your answer. He said once genetic testing tapes off more genes, I think all the identical genes need to be put together so you can search for combos and all of them one search on Morph Market. Correct. But which one would you pick? I say you pick Trick because Trick was the very first one. Blitz was an after and Hurricane was an after.
So to me, although it would be a good idea to give them one name if a gene is certified to be the same, even if they didn't, the fact that people could openly just say, well, it's been genetically tested, that the market will level. You'll find that tricks will go up a little bit and hurricanes
will come down tremendously.
Well, aren't they coming down anyway now, Sean? Because, you know, it's getting more out there, more and more people have got it. And you know how it works in our industry. It gets into a couple of hands, and then before you know it, it just spreads like a wildfire. And now, you know, because it's a co-dominant gene, that it's only going to have substance for so long, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I don't care what you call it. It's about the quality of the animal. Yeah, quality is quality. It doesn't matter what you call it. And you can, I have a friend of mine, Shite to Kaiju, who said hi earlier.
In the chat earlier,
he's got a trick, a hurricane, sorry, and his hurricane is outstanding. But that animal is outstanding because it's outstanding, Sean, not because it's a hurricane.
Correct. It's just an outstanding example of that gene group. Right.
Right.
And you know as well as I do, if you take that outstanding one and you breed it and you make another outstanding one and you breed those two outstanding ones and you take the outstanding babies and you breed those two, 3 or 4 generations from now, you yourself could probably rename that motherfucker.
Because it will be
so I say one name. So there you go. We want to arm wrestle? I got strong arms, motherfucker. I can't leg press with you, but I got strong fucking arms, right? You want to arm wrestle? Yeah, because at the end of the day, right? Isn't it going to be one of these things, Mike? Isn't it going to be like, you know, like touche, right? Like, fuck, man. You feed once a week mice. I feed once a day rats. Wow, touche, bro. Like, we're both smashing it, right? Like, we're both like here and here. We're like, what are you, white? What are you, black? What are you, living in the middle? And in the end and on the other end and everywhere in between. And it's very confusing for newcomers to come to this and see something and look for a model, and every fucking model works. And then they move on to another species and it doesn't work that way. You know, they move on to black-headed pythons and they're like, why? I can grow them. I can breed them. I can't hatch them. That's actually me. I'm not making fun of anybody but myself. I've killed more black-headed python eggs than fucking Satan. It's horrible. It's horrible. And I'm like just a pussy for doing it. But really, at the end of the day, ball pythons, dude, you can do them a bunch of different fucking ways.
Yeah. It all works, Sean. You know, for me, the way that I do it that way because it means that I can work at a faster pace than most people.
Sure.
Because I've got 2022 hatchlings. And I'm planning to breed these animals next year. And sure bloody that 90% of them will be ready.
Okay.
They will be.
Do you subscribe to the idea that if a female is big enough to lay, she can lay? Or do you feel that there's a female size? Like, let's say you use an ultrasound machine, Mike?
No, sir.
Okay, you don't use an ultrasound machine. Let's say I gave you an ultrasound machine. And I trained you how to use it, and you didn't care about using it, and you loved using it because you love using it if you had one. But you look inside a female that's 890 grams. She is a whopper. Okay? She's a whopper of a gene. What?
I'll stop you there because do you want me to tell a story that I've never told on the internet before?
Yeah, I'll even hit mute. Go.
So in 2017, when I first started ball pythons, having already got corn snakes, I decided to start buying ball pythons, and I went to buy a snake off a guy. And while I was there, I purchased another couple of snakes. Well, being green to ball pythons, I wasn't aware that I was buying a 2012 female that in 2017 was 870 grams. So now this girl, she's completely switched off. I get her back to my place. And exactly like you said, Sean, you feed it in the dark, you feed it in the light, you give it a rat, you wash the rat, you scent the rat, you take her for a drive, you take her up and round the corner and bring her back. And all of that. Then
Motherfucking circus.
nothing worked, Sean. Absolutely nothing. I'd had that girl in my possession for 6 months, since March until September, and she wouldn't eat once. Live, obviously, as well. You know, we are allowed to feed live in the UK if it is deemed that our animal needs to eat live, otherwise it won't eat. So we have
Yeah, it's
that.
a resort, right? It's a last resort.
So I tried that as well. She wouldn't eat live. Nothing, Sean. So I paired her, bro. I paired her. She immediately started eating food. And at 1,600 grams, a week before she laid her clutch, I weighed her. And when she laid her clutch, she laid 5 good eggs. And she was 920 grams after. So she put on.
Laid the eggs. So if I tell you I had an 870-gram female lay eggs before, that was her weight prior to egg laying. She laid 3 good eggs. She laid 3 good eggs, and that was it. And you know what? Though she was like fucking 4 years old, though. She wasn't young. She wasn't a baby or anything. She was old.
Right. But there's that thing, isn't it, Sean, that a ball python, a female ball python, will get into a rut because she gets to a certain age. She gets into a certain age. And now if you're not going to breed her, she has no need to eat, because they're only here to breed and eat to breed. They're not here to sit in front of the telly and watch a program or wear Ralph Lauren or go for a drive. They eat.
I don't know. Some of them want to go for a drive to eat. Shut the fuck up. We know that. Well, we know some of them bitches want to go for a drive. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. We know that. I know that shit. And you know what's fucked up? You know, that motherfucker was the very first het albino I ever bought.
The chick to the rat. Cut the chick open. It's disgusting, Sean. Cut the chick open and put their rat in the chick
inside the chick and sew the fucking chick up. Oh my god, that's a little over the line. That's over the line. That's over the line.
Oh, that's gross.
I'll rewind on something that tricked in my brain of interruptions earlier when we were talking about feeding, bro. Is carpet pythons, Morelia. I want to throw this out there on a Friday night bullshit after dark. That's all about ball pythons. It's nothing about ball pythons. It's coming. You get Morelia on rats fast, okay, folks? You get them motherfuckers on rats as soon as you can, because you want to talk about an impressed species, an impressed genus. Oh, you get them started on mice and keep them on mice too long. I had a carpet python that wouldn't eat rats. And if you gave it a rat, dude, I used to put the rat in the mouse cage, right? Let them run around on it like a dead rat in the mouse cage. Let them piss all over it and everything. Yeah, fries. Yeah, like fries knows. Fries down under knows. Yeah, carpets. Yeah, you got to fucking, you talk about fucking carpet pythons. They get out of control. This female, I would trick her into grabbing the rat mic. She would grab it and she would hang from a perch in the cage. And she would swing her body and throw the fucking rat out the front of the cage. If the door was open, she would literally eject the rat from the cage. If I had, this was in like 97, so I didn't have a video on a camera phone to video it. But dude, she literally would swing. The male wouldn't do it. He'd just spit him out. But she would actually sling the fucking rat out of her cage. She didn't want anywhere near her. And if you put a live one in there, she would just strike it, aggression strike it. And I raised it from a baby. I don't know why it would have such a fear of rats or something like that. But that's when I learned about Morelia and young feeding of whatever prey you're going to feed them as adults, right? Whether it's ASFs or rabbits or whatever. I mean, get them on it as small as you possibly can. But ball pythons, I think they switch pretty easily. I've never really had that much of a problem.
As long as you don't wait too long. I would never advise somebody to keep a ball python on mice for, I don't know, 6-9 months. It's just, you know, I don't know how well they switch over at that age because I've never waited that long. Yeah,
they switch. At least the exotics by nature ball python switch, because by the time they're that old, they got such a feeding response. I mean, it's not like puzzles are genetically mean. That wasn't anything that I did with food training, but a lot of our other snakes we always got really good feedback from customers about feeding animals from us. And that was always a really high compliment that people were like, man, I got this thing out of the box and it just murdered some shit. You know, I sent a piebald ball python to a guy in Roswell, New Mexico once. Didn't eat. When pieds were like $6,000, okay? Didn't eat. It was gorgeous too, dude. It was one of those chocolate chip pies that had like the little specks around it.
being don't pied have a bit of a reputation for not being good feeders?
Oh, for sure. Especially visual female pies. I used to have a bitch with them fuckers. I had 10 of 12 of them and maybe only got like 3 clutches a year.
Just give me a minute, Sean, because I produced one this year, female. All right, and I'll show you. I'll show you when next fall.
Okay. All right.
She's already 500 grams, bro.
That's great. And I do think you can genetically work on them, bro. Like, I think that if I wanted a line of pies that ate well, I could go after a guy like Big Mike here and then have a line of pies that ate like champs, you know, because they had been kind of bred and kind of brought up that way, if you will, you know.
I think as well, it might sound dumb, right? But it's the way I feed as well, Sean, why I have such a good response. I'll lay out the defrost on, you know, like you saw when we were talking backstage that I've got homemade racks, and you know those tubs when you buy them from the Home Depot style store, they have a lid, right?
Yeah, you use a lid. You use a lid like a serving tray.
Right. So I put the heat mats underneath the lid. I lay all the rodents on the lid, and then in the morning, having left them to
and then you invite over your friend that you don't like so much, that doesn't like snakes so much, and you tell him every snake in the room is perfectly tame and to open it by the handle like this. And that motherfucker gets whammed because you got people, they're waiting, right? They're sitting there at the front like, dude, I'm here. I want it. I need it. Right? I mean, those little those are vents on the front, right? Those aren't like markers, right? Those are vents on the front of your boxes, right? Move your head to the side real quick. Move your head a little bit to the side. See those guys, like those vents he's got in the front of all of his cages. So his shit's in there like
they'll be waiting by that vent with their nose up against. So after I've heated them up to 89 degrees with a I put a thermostat on there like and I basically set it to 89 and it runs on a pulse stat until 89 degrees. And when I'm ready to feed, I lower him into a box and I blow the head with a hairdryer. Bro, it's over by then. Sean, it's over by then. There's a little bit that, you know, there's
like
a
I
little
said, invite somebody over you don't like and tell them to open up all his bins just like that. Wham, wham, wham.
Any other day of the week, Sean, I can open these bins and 98% of my animals, they're really tame. They know me very well.
So late there. What time is it?
Once they hear that hairdryer, don't even
Pavlovian response. He says, once the animals without tympanic membranes on the outside hear the hairdryer, it's actually on. And I mean, that's fucking lit. I mean, no doubt in the world. But so, you know, the oil-filled radiant heaters that we used to heat the snake rooms back in the day, right? We just used stainless steel. Yeah, my cousin used stainless steel like surgical trays, like they used to put like surgical instruments on in the hospital room, and he would just set it on top of the heater and put all the rodents on top of the heater. And I was like, bro, that's just gonna cook them. And he's like, no, it runs pretty low and slow. It's pretty good. It works well. And then I started using heat mats. I used to use Hagen heat mats, and I had 4 Hagen heat mats we used to lay out, and we used, bro, I'm not fucking with you, the container lids of the Sterilite containers with the rats in them, right? And we still do. She still does. I left here last night and there was rats sitting out on the freezer in the room, in the next room, because it's warm on top of the bar freezer in the next room. You know, so I mean, that's how we do it.
In the old days, I used to keep bearded dragons as well. And so in the old days, I never used to bother with the heat mat part of it. The night before, I would just put the tray on top of the bearded dragon tank. And basically, by the next lunchtime, they would just be warm and good to go, just sitting on top of the dragon.
And smelled like a fucking wet rodent's ass in the room. Yeah, for sure. And you know, if you had those,
luckily, Sean, because of my job, the glues and the solvents have actually burnt my nose to pieces, and I have a very poor sense of smell, so I can barely smell anything.
Okay. Well, that works for you and doesn't work for you, right? Because like when I come in my building, I'm like, all right, there's a dead rodent. Okay, there's a dead reptile. Like you can tell a difference in the smell. You can totally be like, rodent.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell that. I wouldn't be able to tell that.
Oh, I can.
But
I can come in here and sense that that's that sweet smell of a rodent. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like sweet. And then it's that fucking pungent smell of a reptile. And it's all dietary, right? It's got to be dietary. It's got to be like the rodent that needs all the carbs to burn all the heat to burn, you know what I mean? And it's like the smell of the rot is different, and I can sense it now. And I wish I had a nose like you, but sometimes I'm glad I don't, because then it keeps me from being able to be able to do it, you know? But look, you were talking about the market, and you were talking about Justin talking about the waning market. I mean, do you really think people would look up to Justin as like the god of market sentiment? I mean, maybe there, because I mean, who else do you look for market sentiment in this? And market sentiment meaning, for you non-investment people, market sentiment, just the climate and how it feels in the market. Are you afraid? Are you confident? Okay. Like you
me personally, I don't. Here's how that works, Sean. People that have invested a lot of money because they've tried to buy in at a higher level, those people that this decline in the market, quote unquote, is going to affect them more. Somebody like myself, who made my collection and is just starting to produce those visuals this season, and next season there's going to be a massive amount of visuals. I've got double recessives that I'm working on and stuff like that, but I start most of my projects from a low level. I told you as well backstage that I tend to wholesale a lot of my animals. Yeah. And the advantage
is that because that allows you to refine your line, like you're keeping the sweet shit and you're like, fuck the rest, I don't want to deal with it?
Well, here's how that works.
That sounds very Aussie boys, just saying.
The market is based around putting your animal up for sale and then hanging around waiting to sell your animal. Okay?
I'm sorry, that's how most selling works, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean,
So,
you kind of wait for people's shoes to fall apart, just saying, but I'm just saying. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, shoes are made, and then there's a cobbler, and the cobbler is more or less like, what's up, bro? How's your shoes? And he's like, they're shoes, they're new. And he's like, well, call me when they're not new. Right. And so, like, then therein lies a situation. But I get that. I get that. Like, yeah.
If you don't want to be, I always say to people like this, do you want to be the guy with £10,000 worth of animals on Morph Market, or the guy with £6,000 in your back pocket?
Trust me, I've been the guy. I am. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm ending this episode. Bye. You're gone. Done. I'm like, all right, that's enough. With no more guy, right? No more him. No. I mean, that's it. Fuck you, dude. You should have shown me the way. We already did this last Friday, bro. Me and Ozzy did this last Friday when Ozzy was like, I own a bunch of houses and stuff. I don't breed a lot of snakes and stuff. I told you like forever ago to do it my way, and you didn't want to do it my way. You want to do it Barczyk's way. You wanted to be a big giant, and now I'm like, fuck, bro, really? I could have done this. I could have kept a closet of gems and be a fucking superstar and be rich. Are you kidding me? I didn't know that. But wait, what my problem is? I like gray banded kings. I like leopard geckos. I like chameleons. I like tortoises. That's my problem, bro. I like stuff. I'm not about this business to make it an enterprise. It ended for me years ago, Mike. I decided my reptile future was not a big fucking enterprise. I have no problem with those that are that, but I'm not that.
Sean, a lot of it is to do with what you want out of life. Yeah, this is the non-reptile thing.
Non-reptile thing, bro, and how you grow, right? How old are you, Mike?
I'm 52, bro.
52. I'm 43. And if you look back on, like, let's just take 19-year-old you. Any resemblance? Any resemblance at all? Right? I mean, I'm kind of resemblant. I mean, Limey would say the newer side of me is kind of resemblant. But
as you'll hear, if you ever go back and watch the whole interview with Sean, I'm that guy that had never touched a reptile until I was like 42 years old. Bro.
Right. And I definitely agree. Eric B, damn, you guys are old. Are you fucking kidding me right now, bro? Are you fucking serious, dude? You fucking asshole, right? Yeah. Right. Tell them about that real quick. Tell them about that, like when you got started and how long you've been while you're burning that thing that I'm jealous of. I'm about to go meet up with my girl and do that same exact thing. But tell him that because I want to say something. It's Eric, motherfucker, right here. I love you, Eric. I'm not mad at you for saying that, bro. I'm just saying, like, you fucking, yeah, like, I love you, bro. But I'll be right there. Hey, just tell him though about the history of you. I know you're just joking, dude. It's cool. It's cool.
So basically, I was 42 years old. I'd never even touched a reptile, and I used to keep freshwater fish. And next to the freshwater fish shop was a reptile store, and we used to buy mealworm from this reptile store so that we could feed them to our fish. So when we used to go next door in the reptile store and buy these mealworm to feed to the fish, my son would tell me, Dad, let's have a look at these bearded dragons. Let's have a look at these snakes. Honestly, Sean, we started out with corns. I've kept and bred bearded dragons, leopard geckos, crested geckos. I've kept hognose, blood python, Mexican blacks. I've kept tokay gecko. I've kept frogs, because my son would just, he was like 12, 13 years old, Sean, and every week it would be,
it was just explore. It was just exploration together.
We had stick insects. To this day,
you toured the world in a terrarium.
That big stick insects that were like 8 inches long. They were ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah. Hey, Will Heat said, I got 2 years on Sean, but I have a hat that fits my head, Eric. So, yeah, that's pretty funny. But, yeah, at the same moment, you know, look, this is a set of snake probes. All right. I talked about this set of snake probes. How old's Dave Barker, you think?
This guy's older than
Dave Barker? Fucking, oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Dave Barker's older than both of us. Dave Barker's in his 70s now, probably.
Yeah. These guys are old. A lot of these guys. See, that's the thing, Sean, that these guys that you talk about, they're older than me, right, Sean? These guys that you talk about.
Right. This probe was turned on a lathe by Dave Barker's father. This set of probes was given to me by Tracy. It was the last 2. I have a set, and my employee, Grace, my manager, best employee I've ever had, has a set of snake probes that David Barker's father made as a machinist. And they used to sell these sets in these little tubes like this.
I'd be ashamed to tell you, Sean, I've never probed a snake in my life.
It's fine. That's fine. And, you know, you don't need to with the species you managed. And you know what? It's not a hard skill for a man like you to learn. Because a man like you understands the physiology of a snake's tail. You understand how hard you can push it.
Start from behind the vent.
You have to be behind the peen. You can't hold the dick down while you try to push the dick out, guys. It doesn't work that way. Roll the finger. Start working on this. Just work on this. Just sit there on the couch and do this. Your wife is going to be like, bro, what are you practicing? What are you working on? And you're like, I'm working on my finger roll. I want my thumb to be way out there, like way out there when I hit it, right? Like, and where I'm rolling way far, and everybody's gonna be like, bro, I fucking did it, man. You're the fucking man. Because the funny thing was that my reputation in my local area was, hey, bring it to that kid over there. He could sex anything. He can get the dicks to come out of anything. You know, I used to just have fun with people sexing their own blood pythons. Like, dude, hold it up straight by the neck and tickle it and make it angry. And then the thing would shit all over him, but the peens would come out. It'd be like, male. When it was shit all over you, if nothing came out, it was a girl. If shit all over you and peens came out, it was a, and they were like, really? That's how you sex bloods? I was like, no, but it looked funny you doing it.
So you know yourself, Sean, that if you sex enough ball pythons and you're paying attention, that you can actually sex 8 out of 10 just by visually looking at them.
You can. Yeah, you definitely can.
The female will have a narrower tail because there's nothing in there. A male will have the slightly round, especially if you wait and don't sex them out the egg and you wait for like 2-3 meals, then I can pretty much guess them off the bat by them because you'll see it. But why are you laughing, Sean?
I come from an era where we cut the egg, and when we were really nervous about what kind of money we were going to make, we fished out the tail and sexed it and stuffed it back in. Shut the fuck up. We did that. They're like, dude, you got a male pinstripe? I don't know. Let me go cut an egg real quick. I'll tell you. Yeah. Fuck yeah, we did that. I'm like shameless. Okay, listen. when Kevin McCurley brought a ball python in an egg to hatch on the table in Daytona, I accosted the fuck out of him. And then here I am in Daytona in like 2017, and Daisuke's coming to buy clowns from me. And he desperately needs a super blade clown that's a female that's insanely good looking. And I'm like, bro, I think I got it in the egg. And she stayed in the egg. Mike, she stayed in the egg. You ever had a ball python that stayed in the egg for like a week? It was just like, this is fun. I love it in here. It's got everything. It's got DirecTV. It's got NFL Sunday Ticket. It's got Fight Night. I mean, they fucking love. Dude, I bring this snake to Daytona in the egg. It's been in the egg for 5 days. I am literally in Daytona, in the bathroom, in my wheelchair, hunched over a sink, scooping this clown out of the egg with my pinky and washing the albumin off of it, threw the egg in the trash. And the guy next to me is like, that's one way to do it. You ball python guys are crazy. And I was like, bro, this thing's been in the egg for a week. I got a sale for it in the room. And you know what's fucked up? She sat in that ball the entire weekend like that egg was still around her. But he took her and she ate and everything was fine. And it wasn't a harmful thing, right? But I did feel a little Frankenstein for a minute because I was like, wait a minute. I told Kevin he was a fucking insufferable motherfucker for doing this. And here I am doing this fucking like 10, 15. Now, granted, it was 15, 20 years later, 15 years later. But you know, yeah, we've done some heinous shit.
They just sit about for absolutely no reason.
Now, listen, I've never had another one do that. That was a really extraneous case.
I had one do it this year. This year. She just stayed in her egg. Just stayed in there.
Stayed in a tight ball, no umbilical, no knot, no prolapse, no nothing.
I rolled her around in the egg and inspected everything and rolled her the right way back up again. She still
just
didn't
to see if she was kinked and shit. Right. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird. And I like talking to somebody. It's like, I mean, I'm talking to all of us on Ballsh. Most of the guys on Ballsh have hatched a lot of eggs now, you know, because I'm interviewing a lot of guys that have been around, you know, and I'm not just doing the old stuff. I want to do some new stuff too. Like I brought Ron Heisenberg in and bringing some new guys in, you know.
That's why I'm here, right, Sean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, new and old though. I mean, the thing is there's new and old.
I'm new, bro. I might be old, but I'm new. Yeah.
Yeah, you're new, but you're old, but you've been around and you respected the old ways and stuff. And so that's something. Now, look, I had a reptile past, bro, but had I not had a cousin in my life that was allowed to have the shit, because I wasn't even allowed to have the shit until I was a teenager. So it's not like I had this enriched, like you brought your kids up that way where they had an enriched life. I didn't have an enriched life. I had to enrich my life. So, you know, and that's something, you know, the old granddaddy Herb says daddy's coming. You're right. I got Anthony Zavala is coming to Ballshit podcast on what day did we pick, Anthony? I don't have my calendar up. It was December what? I think it was December or November. I don't remember. Next Friday was Friday after Thanksgiving. I have Shane Kelly coming on, our sponsor, one of our sponsors, Small Town Exotics, attention whore of the year, with all the sponsoring of podcasts that Shane has done. And that'll be fun. But Mike, like, dude, we could definitely go on for days and months and years, but the decline, like you said, is ups and downs. I wanted to throw this up there. It's completely different subject matter, but the same to me. And I want to show you guys this because it's something that I keep an eye on daily. It's something I do, and you know I do this. But crypto. This is the Bitcoin chart from 2018 to now on this right-hand side. These two humps here, 2021, and then in the beginning of 21, and then in the latter part of 21, were the basic spikes of COVID finance plumbed into the market, okay? This chart isn't all that different than stock market charts. This chart follows the stock market. Bitcoin is very much an indication. This chart right here we're looking at is just human emotion, okay? Human emotion where some people believed down here, you know, some people down here believed, then they believed more here, then they didn't believe. They believed a little bit, then they fucking believed, and they believed a lot. And they believed a whole lot until Elon Musk came on Saturday Night Live and told them all it was a sham. And then it went down to here, right? So what if Justin came on right now and said, it's all a sham? That would be this dip, right? And it came back up. And then free money stopped and the economy started to fall. And the reason I'm showing this and the reason I'm going into this detail is that there are plenty of people buying down here because they believe in up here. Okay. And this is a buy low, sell high moment. Now, I'm not telling you to take your, oh, look, let me run. Wait. I got one. I got a banner for this. I got a banner for this. The entertainment purposes only, or not financial advice. This is my crypto banner right here. This is my banner when I talk about investments. Not construed as financial advice. Do your own fucking research. Yes, do your own fucking research, please. But at the same time, please pay attention to this type of graph, because this graph is truly human emotion. This is when people got
Because
money.
our market is exactly the same, Sean. Our
It's
market
exactly the same. It's just
But why
delayed
shouldn't
from
it?
this.
Why shouldn't it be? Why shouldn't it be? Because if
You're right.
all finance and all everything is going that way, then why should we?
Why shouldn't ball pythons follow the same path? Yes, sir. I mean, yes, we're seeing a surge in crested gecko sales right now. But at the same time, what we're seeing here is just a responsive and economic problem. Okay. Look, this was at $69,959, $69,200. Okay. People thought this was going over $100,000 by the end of last year. By the way, the top of this crest marks Thanksgiving last year. Look, Friday, November 5th, 2021. The top bubble was around Thanksgiving of the year. So we're almost a year. Look at the decline in almost a fucking 1 year. I got wrecked. I was at like $56,000 up here. I'm at like $2,000 down here. I mean, wrecked, right? But I believe in the space. I believe in this space like I believe in ball pythons, like I believed in ball pythons. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have run my wealth down so low that I have to wait for the ball python market, where we might be like right here, right now. But for me to get back into balls, bro, we got to go down here. We got to go down like where there's an area where I can feel a little bit easier about all this. You know what I mean? About all the money that was spent down here. Like all the people that spent money on codoms, Mike. I'll put my chart away now and talk more snakes real quick before we round it out. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Those people that spent big money on 5-gene codom combos that now can't sell a fucking snake. Those are the people that are down there in that rut. Those are the disparagement. That's the disparagement of value. How do you feel about that? What is going to happen to a marketplace, in your opinion, when you have a disparagement of value between the stuff that most people have listed for sale and the stuff that's actually selling?
So
that's a really tough question, I know.
Well, the stuff that sells well is going to be the stuff that is hardest to make, because the stuff that is hardest to make, that's where its value is in the. So codoms in the UK already, unless it's a very, very specific codom, bro, I can pick up. See, that's the thing. If you work wholesale, you buy wholesale as well. I buy wholesale, Sean.
True.
Yeah?
That's a Bob Vu trick, right? You listen to Bob Vu episode. We talked about that, you know?
Yeah. You sell wholesale, then it gives you the right to go to that wholesaler and to buy that animal from him at wholesale, you know? So the way you got to look at it is that if you're making rare and unusual stuff that there isn't another 50 of in the marketplace, then you're going to be okay. When you're producing stuff that when you put it on the marketplace, it's just going to get lost in another 50 animals that have got pretty much the same genetic lineup. There's nothing special. Then now those are the animals that you're going to sit on. Those are the animals that get maintenance fed. And those are the animals that go on not to be good breeders.
Or go on not to be well cared for as pets either, because they more or less get shoveled aside and they lose weight and they lose value. And that goes back to Jessica Hale putting me on the spot for my old question, where are all the male cinnamons? You know, where are all the male cinnamons? Like, I produce 200 of them. Like, where are they? And that's the concern, right? So like and I'm not going to say that this market is all just flare and we only care about what the baby looks like and all that type of stuff, because I was a breeder that did a lot with my stuff, right? For me, did a lot of the world's first things. I did a lot of those things like that for me. I made better looking snakes for me. And I think that about you. You're making better snakes that eat better. You're making You know, like you said, you're making trick animals that outweigh hurricanes in their finest stance. You're refining yourself and you're refining your business, and while doing that, you're refining a line. It's respectable.
Right. Because if you put
It's
your time
respectable.
in, if
It's
you put time
respectable.
in,
Yes, you put time in, and it's respectable. So that's what
yeah.
I'm saying, bro. Like the respectable men from the fucking boys that want to bump chests and have banners and business cards and sticker swaps, and you know what I mean. Like there's men and there's boys, there's women and there's girls. There, I'm telling you right now, there's different ways to do this, and I
Right.
like the way you do it, bro.
Just hit the nail on the head, because there's so many different ways to do this, Sean. And some people do it by going out there and puffing up their chest. Some people do it by causing controversy so that they get
Oh,
noticed.
stop. I didn't do that. I know you weren't picking on me. I'm just kidding.
No,
Only
listen,
controversy I ever tried to cause on purpose was to get answers for some shit. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
listen. I wrote to you when you came back, Sean, and I told you
You
how I
did.
felt to you, bro. Because
You
for
did. And
me,
you know what?
I don't.
High compliment, bro. High compliment. I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate all of you, even those of you that tell me that I interrupt too much. I'm sorry. What did
Yeah,
I
you
wrote
do.
somebody on a chat. I did write a chat response this week that I was a little, it wasn't aggressive, but it was a little bit like, hey, I'm not interrupting like I used to. And I got shit to say too, motherfucker, because I've been doing this longer than Ozzy. And I've been doing this longer than Babu. You know, and some stupid shit like that, right? I'm not trying to be a cocky fuck when I say that, but I am trying to tell you guys that when I talk to Ozzy on this thing, it's like I'm talking to my old bro that's right next to me. I got no starstruck adorations. I've got no interest in every single bit of verbiage that falls out of his mouth being golden to me. He is my friend. He has been an adversary. He has been what would I call him? Like I call Ben Rennick and I call Justin Kabilka a formidable fucking adversary in my market. You are guys that I strive to fucking compete and beat. And if I can, I'm a great man for doing it. And I hope to fuck I can get close. And if you don't understand me when I say that, dude, it's not cocky. It's not, oh, I did this. Sean pats himself on the back. Fuck you for that point of view. These are my bros. I've watched them grow up. They've watched me change and grow up. I've watched you, a motherfucker who had no interest in snakes, go somewhere and be told by multiple people that I should talk to you. Bro, that's something. That's something.
Listen,
And you
for me,
earned it.
Ozzy is the one that I emulate, not to follow.
No, you
Basically,
want to emulate a business model. You're stupid if you don't.
right, right. So the idea is to constantly improve the quality and not the quantity, because if you keep the quantity at a level and you just concentrate on quality, the money will naturally follow the beautiful animals. It's as simple as that. You don't need to. People tell me you never really talk about money that much, Mike. And I say I'm not really concerned by it, because if I make good quality animals, that good quality animals will sell for good money because they'll be good quality. You know,
Yeah.
you can show me something and I'll tell you, no, I don't want that one. No, I don't want that one. I go to my friend Paul's and I'll tell him, I want this gene. I've got 4 of them. All right, show me them. No, not that one, not that one. No, I don't want none of them. Get me another one, because
Yep.
I'm looking for something specific. If it hasn't got that, okay, Sean, I'm going to throw this here. I look at it like this: that a gene is a light, right? A gene is a light, and that light has behind it, say, 50 lights. Okay, and for the first light to come on, at least 24 lights in the back have to be on, and then the big light switch goes up. That's the gene. The expression, the expression is based on how many of those 50 lights in the background are on. So I'm looking for that animal that has a minimum of 45 lights on. And if it doesn't, it's not the animal for me.
I'll tell you my day of discouragement. When I watched Kevin McCurley bring a ball python to a reptile show, it was a pure-blooded ball python. It looked like a blood python. And he didn't know why it looked like that. And he didn't know exactly what genes it was that he did to do that. Because back then it was Kevin McCurley was just putting stuff together.
Stuff
It's-
together.
right. It was just like Kodam putting stuff together. Right. And it was one of his Lucifer, Angel of Death, Soul Sucker, Death Bringer, fucking stupid shits. Right. Evil Morph God, stupid shits. Right.
Do that. When Kevin used to do that on his old
I
video.
fucking love Kevin though. I mean, I fucking love that dude. I fucking love that dude.
And I'll be sitting there like this. I'll be like, wow.
We call this the Rico.
How?
Playing with his guitar. I'm gonna call this one the fucking evil danger noodle. And I'm like, what the fuck, Kev? So yeah, he's coming on Ballsh after the new year. We're gonna strike in 2023 with Big Kev. And me and him are just going to cut up on this. It's not going to be a Kevin McCurley numbered show like all of these shows with a number where I'm interviewing them and I'm into them. No, it's going to be me and Kevin doing what me and you have done tonight. Just fucking me. And I love that. I love that. Thank you for doing this, bro. I mean, here we go on and on. I am going to cut short soon because I want to upload these things. And if I get carried away and keep doing these 3-hour shows, it cost me so much fucking money. Really, like all the money that I'm making from all these sponsors, all these wonderful, like 1,500 sponsors I have, all this NASCAR shit that's taped around my fucking studio whenever I get to talking about sponsors. I am not kidding you when I tell you I'm spending like half of that money just on hosting because I'm uploading such big episodes. But no, really, it's gold though, isn't it? Like to be able to live feed this shit, bro, me and you. That's fucking golden shit.
The truth is that the people will tell us that, yeah, because that's down to them.
It's true. It's true. I know it's true because I would have fought for this when I was young. I would have killed for this when I was young.
Well, for me, when you asked me to come on here, for me, I was happy to do it because, for me, I hold you in a high place, bro. And it's as simple as that.
Well, mutual respect to you, dude. You've earned your position. I think you should retail more, though. I do think you should retail more. Snakes and Doggies said gold. I don't know what I paid this person to give me such a high compliment because they're very rough on me, but that's okay. I appreciate the compliment to our show tonight. I do agree with you. I think this man has a lot to offer. I think looking behind him at homemade racks with wood grain edges make me feel cozy and warm and brings me back to a time when I had no PVC and I had no access to CNC machines.
Not here to be finesse or anything like that. I let the animals speak for themselves, Sean. It's all about the animals. Don't watch that. I tell people it's just as easy to breed a 4,000-pound animal as it is to breed two normals together. All you got to do is stack your genetics correctly. Use a correct strategy, and you can do it effortlessly.
Yeah, it is. And remember, what you love will sell. It doesn't matter. He's right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Primitive Reptile said this is an epic show. Hats off to us both. Thank you very much, Primitive, for piping up and saying that. I really appreciate that.
See that we still have, Sean, 36 people in here.
We do.
And
a hell of a hold.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming here. Anybody that has bothered to be here for the whole 2 hours, you're good in it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Respect to all of you.
Honestly, dude, it's been an honor to have you on this show and to record with you and to say that, man, this is just another great experience that I've had coming back. So I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm having a lot of fun not buying ball pythons, like going to a show and selling some and then taking the money and spending it on something else and then talking about them with you has been just an absolute joy. I don't need to be a breeder to be in this commentary role. In fact, it's probably better that I'm not a breeder to be in this commentary role at this stage in my game, in my life. I need more guests like this guy here, though. So please bring me your guests. Bring me you're tired, you're hungry, you're starved. Bring me the ones that need the love because I need the love. I mean, we're not even to 1,000 subscribers yet. What the fuck am I talking about? I don't need anything but more attention.
Ridiculous, which is absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's fine. But it's fine. You know why, Mike? Because when I upload this episode to Libsyn, when I go upload this episode to Libsyn, do you know what I see? It comes up in the corner how many times the audio has been downloaded. And by the way, I want to tell you, I'm coming up on 100 recorded shows. Most people don't know that because on this channel, we only have these few, right? But we are actually coming up on 100 recorded shows. We got about like 20, 25 shows to go, but at two a week, that's not really hard to smash, right? It's really not hard to smash, which means that we are almost at double, or I should say what's this we shit? I got no producer. I'm almost at double the productions this year that I did in the entirety of Ballshit in the day. And that is only because of StreamYard and this Rodecaster Pro and the ability to live feed. I'm not on medication,
easy, bro. I've just got my mobile phone and that's it. You know, it's such a simple thing. It's ridiculous.
Simple. And nobody needs a fucking classy background. I mean, I have a shitty wall still here, but we've been working on plans. There's nothing wrong with that background, bro. I have a shitty wall with holes in it that needs to be redone, but I'm planning on doing it in the whole animal thing and all.
That's
but yeah.
See the logo in the corner, Sean?
Yeah.
That's from Crystal Palace Reptiles.
Crystal Palace. When I
went there, they gave me that. When I went there,
because that's basically just a repro of a nerd calendar. It looks, like a nerd poster, because he really did follow Kevin in almost every single thing he did. You know, Will's Hella Heat, thanks a lot for posting that. That you've listened to every audio episode at least twice. I can tell you've been fairly new at this. I have compliments from people that said they've listened to it 7 or 8 times, and honestly, I'm fucking thrilled with that. Not for me, but for all of my friends that are in it, aren't in it. Most everybody that I ever interviewed is pretty much still in it, with exception to the Renix. I don't really know that I've interviewed. Graziani's really not a big ball breeder and stuff like he was then. So that was a great episode we talked about pre-show. You know, but I think everybody that was doing it's pretty much still doing it. You know, it's great to hear. I mean, that's good to see, right? Like if I did 40, 50 some episodes interviewing people, 40 episodes interviewing people, most of them are all still at it. That's pretty awesome. So, you know, definitely. I hope that we can do this again one day and that we're both still at it is what I'm getting at, you know, bro?
I'm always going to be at it.
Awesome. Awesome. I love hearing that. I'll always be doing something with it, you know, for sure. But yeah, definitely. The
truth is that once you get to the quality, actually, you can make your money off a smaller and smaller collection. Mm-hmm. And it just, again, it goes back to what you want out of life. If you want to have a Lamborghinis and Ralph Lauren, then you need to work a lot harder than me, because I'm not really interested in any of that. I just want to pay my bills, get some food, and spend some time with my kids. You know.
You know how I tell that story, dude? When pinstripes were 20 grand and we hatched 40 of them in a year, and then we had boas that did crazy good too the next year after that. You know how I tell that story, Mike? I went to my friend's car dealership and I test drove a Ferrari, and I drove away with a Land Cruiser because a Ferrari can't tow a trailer to a reptile show. That's it. I fucking test drove a Ferrari. It wasn't an expensive Ferrari. It was like 40 grand. Not very much. It was used as fuck. It was an F355 Spider. It came off auction for like 40 grand. The undercarriage was destroyed, and New Orleans is a shithole. So I could rip me through New Orleans in that thing with all the pussy I wanted in the side of it and not give a fuck about the undercarriage because it was already fucked. And then there was the Land Cruiser. It was 35 grand. It could haul a trailer the size of a boat, and I could go to reptile shows in it. Guess what I drove away with? You know what? I already had a woman. I didn't need any more pussy, so it's not like I was needed a Ferrari, right? But at the same time, I fucking legitimately did. You know, of course, Reptile Hutch said, which pinstripe sold for 40-20. Dude, Reptile Hutch, let me tell you something about the old days, bro.
Listen, I have somewhere, Sean.
Yeah.
I have somewhere that list. You know that list? I have a picture of that list where the super fires are $120,000.
And they had a registered trademark R next to them, bro. Eric Davies, Will Banks, and Clark registered trademarked the name.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. But see, they never got that money. That was posthumous bullshit. They never got that money. The money, like when Reptile Hutch says Wish Pinstripe still sold for $20K. We bought, me, Will Banks, Stan Shearis, maybe Brian Kolwitz, bought pinstripes in 2003 from Barchak.
I was going to say, didn't Barchak bring the pinstripe in? I thought Barchak brought pinstripe in.
We bred, fucking fly loves my microphone right here. It must smell bad. Need to wash that thing, I guess. Dude, we bred that pinstripe male. That was the first year I bought an ultrasound mic. We bred that pinstripe male. He was a year and a half old. We didn't even know we could breed ball pythons in 6 months back then. I paid $25,000 for it. with the ultrasound, he bred 11 females. 10 of them laid eggs. Of the 10 that laid eggs, we hatched 42 pinstriped animals. Of the 42 pinstriped animals, one of them was the very first female lemon blast because Barchak had only hatched a male. Okay. And in that, dude, you want to know how I fucked myself out of $1 million? Right there. That one female fucked me out of $1 million because my buddy Jared Carr bought a male pinstripe as well. And you know what he hatched? A male lemon blast. And because he hatched a male lemon blast, he hit a super blast first. He hit all this other shit first. You know a guy named Brad Boa, right? You guys heard of a little small man named Brad Boa, big fucking Brad. Yeah, Big Brad worked for Barchak back then, dude. And Big Brad bought into that project too. Big Brad and Jared Carr. Big Brad bought Jared out of that, I think. And because he had that male, bro, I hatched the second lemon blast to ever hit the earth. I hatched, but it was a girl. And she didn't produce for 8 years. She was fucking 1,300 grams for 7 years. I sold her as like a 1,200 gram proven breeder to Brad and was like, dude, don't cross your fingers on her. He's like, why? I said, that is actually the second lemon blast to ever hit the earth. And he's like, she's so small. And I was like, no fucking shit. Don't tell me how many millions of dollars I lost. So regardless, dude, one male pin, one ultrasound machine, 18 months, 11 females, normals. Well, that was a pastel, obviously. Normal. It was a hypo. So I hatched 3 female. I remember it exactly. I hatched 3 female pinstripe het hypos, 1 female lemon blast, and then I think 18 pairs of pins, regular pins. And that was the year that Pete Call told me, I'll only sell you boas. I'll never sell you a ball python.
Because he knows that you have the ability to make the project work like that.
He came to my table and he said, I'm interested in a pinstripe, Sean. I heard you had some. And I'm like, yeah, Pete. It's Pete Call, dude. Come to your table to buy something from you. You're like, what do you want to see, bro? I'll show you my nuts. What do you want to see? You want to come back here? You want to dig through my shit? You want to go in my wallet? You're Pete Call. Like, I want you here. Like, you're my hero, right? That's like you guys having Justin come to your table and just oogle your shit and be like, bro, I'm interested. Do you have more of these? I want to see. Do you have more of these? And you're like, oh, bro, yeah, I got more. And bro, I pull out 10 male pinstripes and Pete fucking walked away. And I chased him. I went to his table and I'm like, dude, do you want to do that pinstripe deal? And he's like, fuck you, Sean. And I'm like, what did I do? I'm like, Pete Call all of a sudden told me, fuck you. What did I do? And he's like, fuck you and that fucking sonogram, dude. Kevin told me you had fucking 12 males behind the table. That shit ain't worth $20,000 if you just little old you's got 12 males. And I was like, bro, you're going to drive your own market down thinking like this. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. Next week, I'll buy one for half of what I'll buy it from you today. And he wasn't wrong, because that year that pinstripe sold for $20K reptile hutch. You know how right now you have this stability with DG Clown and y'all are all pissed because some dude went down like $1,000 on a DG Clown. Like he cut DG Clown from this to this. Bro, I had a car sales guy by the name of, what was it? Morph King Reptiles. Morph King put out an ad that said, we will beat every single price. And when customers would call me and get a price for 20, they would call Morph King and tell Morph King that I quoted him 16. Bless you, bro. You're good. You can let him out. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to have an aneurysm holding him in like that. There you go. Let it out, bro. Bark like a dog. But, dude, that one year, Morph King came out and the customers would call us and say, 20? We'll pay 16. No, I won't sell it to you for 16. You know what they would do? They would call Joe at Morph King and tell Joe that I told him yes to 16. You know what Joe would say? Oh, I'll do it for 12. I'll do it for 12. John Levy, John's Jungle. He's still in business, right? John Levy in California, John's Jungle. John's Jungle called. Jay Trott. Jay Trott's old school, bro. Jay Trott and I go back to them. Wes and Joe. Wes Harris went to work for VPI after that. Wes Harris left Joe after he did all of that and went to go work for VPI. That shit was fucking ridiculous. Jay Trott and I go back to Ralph Davis's forum, though. Jay Trott and I go way back. I say Jay Trott because that was his screen name, just Jay Trott. Y'all know Jason Trott is Jay Trott. and I see him at shows and stuff. You're so old school, bro. But those snakes went from $20,000 to $10,000 in 4 fucking months, dude. How would you like to be the guy that bought a male for 20 when you could buy a pair for 19 in the same year from the same clutches? You want to talk about serious fucking competition and shit? If this market goes the way, I'm sorry to say this, man. And this will be my fire that nobody hears at the end of this show, Mike. Hopefully the fuck they're gone now, right? Hopefully they're gone when I say this. This fucking fire I've been watching. I've been watching this house fire for a year. Okay. And this morning, I placed a fucking $1,000 bet at the top of this fire. And right now, I've made $500 off that $1,000 already sitting here right now. And this house fire might keep burning, bro, because the economy ain't changing. You know what I mean? It ain't changing tomorrow.
It's going to get a little worse before
it's going to get worse before it gets better, guys, you know? So I'm not out there saying the ball market's going to crash down around our asses and shit. I'm more worried about the ripple effect of it. I'm more worried about what happens when rodent sales slow and rack sales slow and this slows and that slows. Because then when you have the ancillary falls apart, that's when a market really struggles, okay? So enough said on that. That's a deep dive.
In a bear market, Sean, that something will reset itself and the stragglers and the weak will unfortunately get lost along the way. And those that will be left will be the strong ones. And then they will rise up again when the market rises again, because while the market is slower, you breed in a little bit more of an intelligent way, you know that you should be producing blue-eyed Lucies, plenty of them, because they're like little sweeties. I can sell blue-eyed Lucies like that and ivories like that.
And like pieballs and regular pieds like that. Not regular pieds. Never mind red striped pied, blah, 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 blah. Never mind none of that. Dragon Soul here to support my big man Mike. I'm about to kick Mike out of here. We're about to go home for tonight, but I'm going to tell y'all right now, this was a show. This was great, dude. Like, turning up the heat on these shows is so much fucking fun, Mike. So thank you so much for accepting my invite. Thanks so much for bringing the bulls. Talk about a bear market, bro. This is a bull in a bear market right here. This is a bull in a bear market. So, dude, this is it. I mean, look at this funny shit. Like this reptile hutch. Eric, you hear this? $20K for a pin. I'll sell you your friend's discount for $15K. You guys have no idea where the history of your shit was, right? The year I paid $25K for a pin, we paid $10K for a Mojave, $13 grand for a clown, $13,500 for a super pastel, $10,000 for a pair of het genetic stripes, fucking $3,500 for a pair of pastels, $1,200 for a pair of het albino ball pythons, $4 grand for an albino ball python.
On that episode with Greg, when Greg speaks about how he produced the first pastels and he just gave up his job. He just gave up his job from the first set of pastels.
Oh, wait. He gave up his job as a cop, but Brock Wagner's still rocking his position as a fucking snake millionaire, dude. Like, how about that? Y'all go listen to Brock Wagner's in. Brock and I have old static, so he's declined coming on bullshit right now. I hope that'll change in the future. I really do. I hope that'll change. And then Paul says, get the fuck out, 18K for a lesser. John Piro, my boy John in New York, in Brooklyn, New York, paid Ralph Davis $45,000 for 1.1 lessers. And keep in mind, did not have the ability to make a daddy platy. That was all the rage of the line right then, because you couldn't make a daddy with 2 lessers. You had to have a lesser sib. You had to have a daddy gene carrier and a lesser to make a daddy. So, and nobody knew that then, right? But John bought that pair of snakes. But do you realize John sold blue-eyed leucistic snakes from those? He sold the super lessers for $20,000 to $30,000 a piece. I bought a lavender albino female. Dude, check this out. He went to Nerd. Get this. He went to Nerd and he picked out a adult female normal that came in gravid, and she didn't produce. She ended up just absorbing or whatever, right? She didn't produce. The following year, he bred her to a het lavender he bought from Ralph to make possible hets. And she was a motherfucking het lavender albino. And she produced lavenders. And he sold me a female lavender for $18,000 and sold the other one for $20,000. So, like, dude, money was just the boom, 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 boom. But that was the same year when I hatched pinstripes that I called the Scoria boa breeder and offered him $250,000 for the clutch. And he did this. Click. And he slammed the fucking phone down on him. I called him at his pet shop, offered him $250,000 for the entire litter of Scoria boas and the adults. And he laughed and shut the fucking phone down. And I found out that Rich Eiley and his investor paid him almost $200,000 for one.
Wow.
Fuck you. That's serious cash. I begged and pleaded. I begged and begged and begged Tom Burke to sell me some of those berry bloods when John Berry had those blood boas, and they were the coolest blood boas. And I got them. I spent the entire Daytona weekend getting them. Tuesday morning after Daytona, I get a phone call from Mark Bell. It says, "Yeah, I heard you were everywhere searching for the best berry bloods." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Did you find them?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What'd you pay for them?" I said, $9,000 for the pair. He said, "I'll give you $15,000 for them right now." And I was like, okay. Because Tom Crutchfield taught me something, guys. Money in the bank is better than a dead snake in a tank. And that was the one Tommy Crutchfield. It wasn't the keeper of the kept is the keeper's keeping kept thing that he's doing now, which I admire, but it's a little bit over the top. But Tom Crutchfield's thing for me, Mike, was money in the bank was better than a dead snake in a tank. And it sounds greedy as fuck, but that man's had a lot of cool reptiles in his life, and he's made a lot of money. Keep doing it. So thank you, sir. I hope you continue to do well and thrive into the 22nd century with your operation. I truly do. And man, wish the best for you. Absolute best. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Sean. Thank you very much.
Hopefully you'll come back and we'll bullshit some more about the UK market. Whenever you have a beef, a bone to pick, legitimately, that we won't get in tons of trouble on live YouTube bullshit, I want you to hit me up and we'll come on this little purple background and we'll talk about it.
No problem.
Sound good? Thank you very much. Big Mike. And please say your name, man. I'm going to do a Ron Heisenberg. Sorry, Ron Heisenberg, to say my name. But he says his name is actually Mike. His name is Michael because of his heritage. What is your heritage, sir?
I'm a Cypriot. I'm from Cyprus. My parents are from Cyprus.
Very interesting. And how is it? And what's your? Go ahead and say your name, man.
It's Michalagis Mikhail.
So his name is Mike. Big Mike. On the mic.
That's why they call me Big Mike.
That's right. Spicy Noodles. I can't really repeat this without feeling like MJ. Great show with the homie Mike, because he's got that homie Mike thing down. But thank you very much, guys, for coming out. It was a wonderful show. This is a great live. Mike, let me put you on the sidelines for just a minute. I'll get you a couple minutes from you on the back end. Thank you so much. Anything you want to say on the way out?
No. Just thank you again for everybody that showed up. And,
yeah. Fuck them. We gave it to him. Fuck them. We gave it to him for free. Fuck it. We gave it to them for free. They came and sat through it. It is their thing, whatever. All right, I'll catch up with you in just a minute, Mike. Let me round it out with these guys. Enjoy your joint for a minute. All right, everybody. Look, fucking fabulous. I like these whole, purple shows with my logo over here and his logo over here and him over here and me over here. I like it, okay? And I love it, and I want to do more of it. And it doesn't have to be all about the breeder. It doesn't have to be I'll try not to interrupt so much. I like the fact that he fended for himself. Snakes and doggies, hey, you do make some comments that are kind of like a fucking pain in the ass, but I appreciate them still. So I want you to keep bringing them, right? And I appreciate all you in the chat for coming in. There's so many of you here that I've not seen in here before. I hope I see you in here again, because this is not the only time that this channel shines. I've been bringing guests on here that make it real shiny. It's just not necessarily the shiny new thing that everybody wants to subscribe to. So, Jay Trott, I'd love to have you on one night, bro, just to kind of throw back. We don't really care. It's not about ratings. It's not about money. It's not about covering bandwidth or fucking making numbers. This is just about getting us on the record to where we are not fucking off into the next century with reptile people like this dude up here that had no idea pinstripes were $20,000. I mean, come on. Jana, you know, Shane, we're going to interrupt the fuck out of each other. Yeah, you guys are probably going to do what you're going to do. But I'm going to tell you right now, when we have Jan on this show, it's going to be interesting because we're going to have somebody that's a COVID baby, as you heard our guest here say, a COVID baby of this whole hobby. And honestly, I can't agree with Primitive anymore. Don't quit. Keep it up. It only gets better from here. I think you're right. I really do. Hit the subscribe, notification buttons, bells, and all that type of shit. And absolutely send me more suggestions for people around the world, people you love, people you know that are in this little niche that need a spotlight on them. Not so much a spotlight for their business, but a spotlight for their knowledge and their experience. And Mike is a shining example of what I'm talking about when I say he did not have a story about being a herper throughout his whole life. He didn't have an uncle that was fucking Steve Irwin. He didn't have some exposure. His mom and dad weren't veterinarians and owned a zoo full of exotic creatures. He wasn't Tiger King. He was just a fucking cobbler, a shoe guy that fixed very high-end shoes, mind you, in the wonderful and huge, probably incredible experience to be in the city of London. But it's a regular thing for this guy. But it's not a regular thing for all of us. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you for joining me and Mike here, Big Mike on the scene, to just really come in and show me how it's done. So thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to roll out and catch more of this, the pre-show and the post-show, on the audio version. So you guys have a great night. I'm going to leave it on Kike there, on Aaron Bosa. Barbosa, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give me some fucking likes, guys. Come on. I'm worth it. They're worth it. We're all worth it.